Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are here for the first test between the All Blacks and England. Now, this game has got a lot of momentum and a lot of hype going into it. This is the first game under Scott Robertson for the All Blacks, so a new era is just beginning. But the question mark is, will it be an era in the right direction, or will we still be where the All Blacks once were? But this is an entertaining series. The fact that it's two matches, we wish it was three, but we only get the two. Looking through at these starting sides, they have both certainly packed a punch for this contest. Looking through at New Zealand, it will be Ethan de Groot, Cody Taylor and Tyrell Lomax as the front row, the same as what we saw throughout that Rugby World Cup. They are a formidable three, and they will certainly be in the action throughout this 80 minutes. Scott Barrett and Patrick Tuipulotu will be the locking duo in this contest. Scott Barrett being announced as All Blacks captain. Massive chance for him to show exactly what he can do once again in that black jersey. And Patrick Tuipulotu, one of the informed players throughout Super Rugby Pacific in that locking duo. Both men have suffered their own injuries, but they're both now match fit and rearing to go for this first English Test match. Summer Penny female starting six with Dalton Papali'i and Ardie Savea at number 8. This will be one of the first games in a while that Sam Cane is not a part of that loose forward trio. Instead, Papali'i has been given the nod after a great season for the Blues, making over 200 tackles, and female size at 6 is exactly what the ABs need. TJ Perenara and Damian McKenzie as the 9-10 combination. Perenara there rather than Aaron Smith. There was a time where those two were side by side. Now Smith's in Japan, Perenara's returned, and he's ready to have an All Blacks start, which is something he really got when Aaron Smith was in the team. Damian McKenzie, another player who probably has lacked starts throughout the last little while. That is due to the fact that they've either had Bowden Barrett or Richie Mo'unga. The gate has been open for McKenzie. Of course, they're going to be playing at Forsyth Barr, which means the kicking conditions will be a little bit more friendly than they may have been if we were out. And the conditions, Geordie Barrett in the midfield alongside Rieko Ioane as the 12 and 13. Mark Talia, Severis switching wings from what they played throughout the regular Super Rugby Pacific season. Talia on the left, Severis on the right, and Stephen Perofeta given the nod to start at 15. Needs a big performance here for the young Blues fullback. Looking through at England's starting lineup, then we will be reading the chat. Joe Marler, Jamie George and Will Stewart will be the front row. Maro Itoje alongside George Martin as the number 5. Now Itoje, he's going to be one of those players throughout this game. He's going to try and get under the skin of the All Blacks, try and annoy them and cause them to make a few errors. Cutting himself at 6 with Underhill and Ben Earl, one of the standouts for England throughout their Rugby World Cup, always making meters when he had the ball in hand. Anytime he's on the field, you can certainly see and hear the excitement when he is out there. He's going head-to-head with Ardie Savea. And at this matchup, Alex Mitchell and Marcus Smith will be the 9-10 combination for the English, with Ollie Lawrence, Henry Slade in the midfield, and then Tommy Freeman. Emmanuel Fiwaboso out on one wing. He has been talked about a lot throughout the week here in New Zealand, and George Furbank is the number 15. So no Owen Farrell, no George Ford for this English lineup, but a young Marcus Smith, a little bit similar to what we've seen for Damian McKenzie. He's waited for his time. Now he has got it. He has to take the opportunity with both hands. Looking through at the comment section that we have got at the moment, we have got any of the chat. We've got Lave, we've got Daniel, we've got Doctor, we've got Seller. We also have got Salihin is here, Raquel is here. Hello again, Bud, says Greg. Welcome in, kia ora, bro. Up to ABs, says amazing one. And I see you dressed up for the occasion. Nice, says Lave. And there as well. I certainly did. I didn't wear the full tux or the full suit. I decided to leave off the jacket for this one. Seeing as the last time the All Blacks were in a last-minute thriller, we did end up almost choking on the tie, so we had to loosen it a little bit for this one. I wish I could watch this, but second best listening live says Damudeen and there as well. And yeah, it is only 1 hour away, which does sound like a long time, ladies and gentlemen, but as we go through this hour of build-up, we will be looking through at these squads for these two sides. Of course, we need to remember this is, of course, the first test match, but these two sides are in action again next week. They will have the rematch. There are a few other international games that are also taking place around the world at the moment. Wales are going to be heading to Australia for their first test. That is kicking off in 3.5 or so hours' time. South Africa taking on the Irish. That is going to be a massive game for both of those sides. And then Argentina versus France, the last game that we are covering on the channel for the day. What about the battle of the young number 6s? Summer Penny Finau versus Chandler Cunningham South. It's going to be a good one. Summer Penny Finau, One thing that has been criticised a little bit for him has been that discipline. Same with Luke Jacobson, who will be coming off the bench in this contest. They have to make sure that they are disciplined here, the ABs, or else England will take those threes when they're available. Also with Marcus Smith, though, as the number 10, perhaps we do see a little bit of a new look attacking English lineup like we saw in their game up against the Japanese last week. Someone looks very sexy in that shirt. And Ty says, thank you very much for tuning in. We have got almost the teams are entering, says Daniel, and Ollie Lawrence. You got that one right, says Joe Webby. Also, we've got the good shirt and tie looking good. All and Hamish up the wires. Damn looking smart, says Isaac in there as well. And morning the rugby guy. It's going to be a corker. I think England 35, New Zealand 28, says Jamie. And that's the thing. It's going to be one of those games that I believe will be split by less than 10 points. Or, and there's only a slight or, right? For some reason, down in Dunedin, there is a chance that the ABs, only a small one, but they could run away with it. But that is only a very rare occurrence and only a very rare possibility, because when you look through at the history of these two sides, I mean, England, just for instance, they've played 13 test matches recently. They have lost only the 3, and of those 3 that they have lost, they've lost them by less than 10. So England don't normally have runaway games, but down in Dunedin, it's bloody cold, as it always is down in Dunners. It looks like a decent crowd forming at Forsyth Barr for this match as well. There's no keeping good man down. Welcome back, Hamish, and we must back Scott Robinson's men to whack the pants off the men in white. Happy viewing to every footy lover out there. England 14, New Zealand 45. Do we know who the ref is? It is the Georgian referee, whose name I can never pronounce, unfortunately. I always forget it a little bit, but yeah, from Georgia, the referee in this matchup. Did you see the Panthers Broncos? I did not know. Yeah, people, sweats on, says Robert in there as well. And bad weather favours the Poms, surely, says Greet the Sacred Cow. You would think so. But, you know, it gets chilly in England, but I don't know whether or not they get that icy chill that we see down in Dunedin. I'm just going to quickly look at the weather report at the moment. But the further down south you go, the colder it gets, unfortunately, here in New Zealand. Where are we? I've got Johannesburg at the moment. It's 1 degrees. That's a bit chilly. Alexandra's 8 degrees, which is relatively close. I think it's going to be around that 7 degrees mark at the moment for this game. And it will get chillier as the evening does wear on. I wish Dan Carter was still playing. He was really good, right? Says Lave. He was, yes. Although now they've got Damien McKenzie in that number 10 jersey with Bowden Barrett making his way off the bench. Hey, Hamish, see you guys in an hour when the kickoff starts. Go the All Blacks, says I there. And looking smart, or looking good, Hamish Smart, says Sanjeeva. And there as well, thank you very much. But looking through at the benches in this contest, ladies and gentlemen, England have packed a punch with theirs, so have the All Blacks. Asafa Moa, Ofa Tuangafasi, and Fletcher Null will be the front row replacements, all having great Super Rugby Pacific seasons. Amoa is a bulldozer. Tuangafasi scoring himself 5 tries throughout the regular season. This is a loose head prop that we are talking about. And then Fletcher Null, known for his scrummaging, actually getting into the side ahead of someone like a Pasilio Tosi or a Tamaiti Williams. So that tells you just how strong that man can be. With a scrum, Tupavai and Luke Jacobson, they are going to be the 2 other forward replacements. Finlay Christie, Anton Leonard-Brown, and Bowden Barrett doesn't often find himself off the bench. He has said throughout the week, though, that he is happy that he's on the bench rather than in the starting lineup. He wants to see the opportunities given to these other players who have been playing well throughout Super Rugby Pacific. England, they have got Dan Baxter and also Dan Cole in the front row. Now, this would be a massive occasion for Dan Cole. I believe the more games that he plays now, the further up in the history books he goes as one of the most capped English players of all time. Cole's at number 19. They've got some very familiar names, I guess you could say. It goes Dan as the last name of Theo. Then you got Dan Cole. Then you got Coles as well with the S. It's a bit of fun off the bench for the English. Tom Curry. That doesn't really fit with anything in terms of the rest of the backline, but he is a phenomenal player, and he will certainly be hoping to get a few minutes under his belt. Yeah, Spencer Smith and Slateholm will be the rest of the forward replacements. The replacements in general, I should say. You boys in Southern Hemisphere don't know what cold is. 7 degrees is topical in UK weather, says Canvas Beard. Yeah, 7 degrees is actually a really nice day today. Like, compared to what we've had in some of the other ones, hopefully we continue getting this nice warm weather that we have got at the moment up the Chiefs. Says Huntley and Savia will have a good game because there's opposition, I assume that is, being Ben Earl. Yeah, I feel like Ben Earl is certainly going to push Savia throughout this game, which is absolutely awesome to see, because this is going to be his first game back in the All Blacks kit since that Rugby World Cup final for that man Ardie Savia. And, you know, there was the inform option of Wallace Satiti, but he hasn't had that international experience. I knew from the start of the week, or even maybe last week as well, the All Blacks were going to go with experience here because they can't afford to allow this game to slip through their fingers. They have managed to beat England the last 7 times that they've played them on New Zealand soil, and they haven't played them in New Zealand since before 2015. It's been almost a decade since we have seen the English play a game in New Zealand. But when they do play in New Zealand, they haven't got the best record, which is why you can understand exactly why New Zealand always head north rather than England to head south. Satiti will be on the bench against Fiji. Trust, I think he's going to be in the starting lineup up against the Fijians. I feel like that's the perfect opportunity to give Satiti a crack. Definitely up against a physical side like the Fijians, who will be going out there and trying to absolutely smash it. We have got there from Grant today. Don't forget, Ollie Norris is playing today, says Grant. How did I mess that up again? For some reason, it's as if my brain can't read the difference between Lawrence and Norris. At the moment, 6-12, says Huntley there. So yeah, we are only 50 or so minutes away from the start of this matchup, ladies and gentlemen. We've still got plenty to talk about because we haven't even looked through at the previous form of these two sides. Looking at the English. Now, this is a lot to take in as there are a lot of games that are to my side, but pretty much the English, they finished third in the Rugby World Cup after defeating the Argentines 26 points to 23. They narrowly lost to South Africa in that semi-final. That was one of the best England performances we had seen in terms of tactics in a long time, and just narrowly missing out by that 1 point. They were able to beat the Fijians in the quarterfinals, 30 points to 24. They beat Samoa by 1. They beat Chile by 71. That's a fairly big margin compared to the rest of the games. 34 points to 12 over the Japanese, and then 27 points to 10. So Argentina did get better in that third place final, but England still proving too strong and managing to get themselves the win. Now, I should also mention England have played a little bit more recently. In fact, very recently, 2 weeks ago, they were up against the Japanese. They were able to win that contest 52 points to 17. Started a little bit closer, as games often do, with them starting at 0-0, but in the end, England just ran away with it in that second half, and they showed exactly what type of attacking prowess they can have when they do start to throw themselves forward. And I believe with this new look English side as well, we are going to see more of a attacking orientated game rather than more kicks, because throughout that Rugby World Cup, I showed all their games. They actually averaged 35 kicks per game. The only other side to average over 30 throughout a contest of all the Rugby World Cup in terms of their average was actually New Zealand, believe it or not. 30 kicks in play for the Kiwis throughout all of their performances. And speaking of their performances, there we go. That is the New Zealand roadmap of what was their Rugby World Cup 2023 campaign. 27 points to 13. Losing their opening game to the French was certainly not the start that the ABs were after. 71 points to 3 over the Namibians. Then 96 points to 17 over Italy. That game was really weird in regards of no one really saw the All Blacks winning that game by more than, let's say, 20 or 30. And then they went out there and won it by almost the 80 or so points. 73 points to 0 over Uruguay. That quarterfinal, I went back and actually watched our reaction to that one. It was a thriller. 30 plus phases from the Irish, and in the end it was Sam Whitelock with his experience that managed to get the turnover. 44 points to 6, pretty one-sided semi-final. In fact, the most one-sided semi-final of the Rugby World Cup, or the quarterfinals as well. And then the final, 12 points to 11. New Zealand were frustrated with their performance. They weren't able to get too much firing. They had a great opportunity at times, just couldn't quite get the job done. But now they want redemption, and they're also under a new coach. Now, a little bit of a fun fact, but it could also be a nightmare of a fact for Scott Robertson, depending on how this game goes. New Zealand have never lost a follow-up game to the Rugby World Cup. They have got, I believe it's 7 wins, 1 draw, or it might even be 8 wins, 1 draw. But either way, New Zealand have never suffered a loss straight after a Rugby World Cup campaign. And now they've got a side in front of them in England who have had a warm-up game, who look pretty strong and will be intrigued for this challenge. I've just shown there in Dunedin 2014 was when we saw England playing up against the All Blacks. But looking through at the chat, we have got D-Max Smashes at elite club level. But he's no Mo'unga, that's for sure, says Greet the Sacred Cow, although he hasn't really been given those same opportunities as someone like a Richie Mo'unga. We've got to remember Mo'unga cemented himself as that 10, and that is now the opportunity that Damian McKenzie has with the squad that they've got. He's got a massive chance to really get that starting jersey, grasp it with both hands, and have it for quite a long time. I support Razor 100%, but I'm a bit worried about the form players picked, or out of form players picked. Geordie Barrett, really. Some Saders forward. I hope they go to standard for our sake. I mean, Geordie Barrett, yes, he's a little bit out of form, you could say, but he's also had a very strong Super Rugby Pacific. You know, and his kicking game that he offers will be extremely handy for the ABs, plus the tried and true combination that we've seen work for the All Blacks at international level is Rieko Ioane and Geordie Barrett. So I feel like it's not too surprising that they didn't want to mix that up. I like Leonard Brown off the bench, definitely with the form that we've seen from him in recent times. They're just showing the last time these two sides played in Dunedin, it was 28 points to 27 in favour of the All Blacks, so an extremely close game in that regard. Kia ora, Hamish. Looking forward to your commentary and insight, says Tar, so welcome in. Hope you are keeping well. Of course, this is the first of many games that we will be covering on the channel today. Cheer, what time is kickoff, gentlemen? So it is 7:05 p.m. New Zealand time, so we're about 45 minutes away from the start of this contest, but there is still, of course, plenty to go through talking about this game and talking about how these two sides do match up, because it is a very intriguing contest, because both sides going with relatively young sides, like I mentioned for England. No Owen Farrell. They haven't got the option of George Ford in this one. There's no Freddie Stewart at 15. They haven't got someone like Manu Tuolangi. He's not going to be playing. Just to list a few of the backs that are missing from this contest for the All Blacks. There is no Mo'unga. There is no Lester Whainarnuku. There's so many. There's no Dane Coles. Someone who, you either love him or you hate him, Dane Coles, but he is not there for the ABs. No Aaron Smith. The Flash, Dukawanga scored 2 tries on debut. He looked real strong in that game up against the Georgians. A pretty close one overall, but Fiji getting themselves the win. I also saw that the USA lost to Romania, which is a pretty big one for the Romanians. I know one Romanian who will be very happy. At the moment, coming England, says Harry and Luck. The only one I see that is out of form is Rieko. Needs to step up. The rest look good, says Joe Webby there as well. And Rieko Ioane, of course, we've mentioned it throughout the regular Super Rugby Pacific season. That man has gone a long time without being able to score a try for the All Blacks. And that is a concern because, for the Blues, I should say, rather than the All Blacks. At Super Rugby level, you would think he'd be scoring more, but at international level, he normally does. So I feel like that's one good thing for them. Satutu or Satiti fellas says keeping it low. I mean, Razor, he talked about it. The reason that certain players were left out was because they weren't good on and off the ball. So, I don't know if that was necessarily directed straight at Hoskins Satutu, but of course, when you look at the numbers, Satutu on attack, he's been absolutely brilliant. 10 tries, 9 try assists, can't get much better than that. But on defence, Wallace Satiti has only played maybe 60% of the minutes that Hoskins Satutu has, yet he's already made almost as many tackles. And you always see him running around. So I think Razor wanted someone with that little bit of a higher work rate, which is why the not-so-popular choice of Ethan Blackadder, I believe, was also selected, because of the fact that he does offer you a lot in terms of running around, making plenty of tackles. But the problem that you've got as well with Ethan Blackadder, the elephant in the room, is the fact that he's injured every 5 minutes. Can someone please give some international time for kickoff? Says JP. So 45 minutes exactly. Whatever time zone you're in, all you have to do is that little bit of maths of working out what is the time in 45 minutes. That is when kickoff is for this contest. Satutu apparently rubs most coaches the wrong way, doesn't answer calls, texts, etc. Not a good look. And it's in 45 minutes. Says Greet the Sacred Cow. And yeah, it was also mentioned about, attitude in terms of the player environment. They want to build what feels like a bit of a brotherhood, a bit of a family environment, which is what Razor has done so well for the Crusaders. And this is nothing against Satutu, but if you don't really fit into that environment, no matter how good of a player you are, if that's what they're trying to work towards, that might be something that did leave him out. I read New Zealand see their coach as a loose cannon, says Xander. I mean, he's different, Scott Robertson. The way that he approaches things is a little bit I guess, like I said, different from what we've seen for past coaches. But I mean, it worked for the Crusaders, and we'll see whether or not it is going to work for the All Blacks here. Damien McKenzie's time, New Zealand by 20, says Robert. And Australia salute the All Blacks, New South Wales, says Peter Pehe. And there as well. But I will mention anyone who is new to the channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button. We have got plenty more action coming throughout the day. The next game that we are going to be covering on the channel will be Wales versus Australia. That one taking place in only 3.5 or so hours time. Oi guys, being an impact on the bench isn't even a bad thing. Bowden isn't being dropped. He's covering 10, 14 and 15. Says Truss. Yeah, like it's not a bad thing for Bowden Barrett. He's got a lot of places he can cover. I'm not sure about 14. I don't think he's done a lot of 14 throughout his career. Something that we may see from Bowden, though, is either that 15 or the 10. Maybe we see a bit of a reshuffle. Anton Leonard-Brown goes into the centres. Rico Ioane could find himself actually going out onto the wing for the later stages of this contest. And Damien McKenzie's time. I'm watching from the UK. Let's go New Zealand. Says TRM. And 1700 until the big 50k subs. Let's get it. Says Great the Sacred Cow. And yeah, we've got a special video planned for the 50,000. I, of course, have to do quite a bit of work to get it to work, but hopefully it does. South African boy here, excited to see this New Zealand team in the rebuild, says RTX. And Peter Feta over Bowden Barrett, he will need to step up big time, says Lave, and no way England can win this. Hamish is wearing a tie, nice tie by the way, says a lollipop. And there as well, thank you very much. Hamish going on a Mormon mission, says JDB. And also we have got there, hope there is no rain. Well, even if there is, we're under the roof down in Dunedin, so the rain won't be able to get in unless it is leaking from the ceiling, which I do hope is not going to take place. What time is the game? It is in 40 minutes' time. 7:05 p.m. kickoff here in New Zealand, but the All Blacks, there are quite a few familiar faces from that Rugby World Cup. We knew that it was going to be an experienced side, and England are actually the side out of the two teams that have made the more changes compared to that Rugby World Cup. Can you tackle off a Tuangafasi? Probably not. I would say that the only way I tackle off a Tuangafasi is if he accidentally runs over me and trips over. We have got there, I always want New Zealand to win, unless they against us, says RTX. You're a nice Jehovah's Witness, says George. And there's well, that's going to be, it's because I didn't wear the jacket, isn't it? If I had had the suit jacket on, then it wouldn't have looked as much like I'm knocking door to door. But, I mean, I'll take it, I guess. Can you spare a moment to talk about our Lord and Saviour, Razor Robertson? Nice. I hate watching rugby when it rains. Running rugby is great to watch. Well, luckily there is a roof, like I mentioned, so we will not see any rain affecting this game. Like, it's going to be cold. It's probably going to be a little bit slippery underfoot. Sorry, not today, thanks, says Robert. And there's Hassan Sullivan was fit. Do you think he would have been AB's fullback, as he was first choice for the Blues? I'll be honest, I don't really know whether or not we would have actually seen him in that number 15 jersey, because like the injuries are one thing. Like you mentioned, if he didn't have the injury, maybe he would have been all right. Looks like Jamie George wants to go from right to left. The referee was confused about that left and the right, so they've had the toss, coin toss that is. Toss means something different in England, doesn't it? You knock on my door, you can have me, says George. How long till the game starts? We have got 40 minutes or so. Now, looking through at the head-to-head, the All Blacks have won 33, England have won 8, and there have been 2 draws, including the most recent time that these two sides did go head-to-head. Now, the All Blacks have a 77% win rate, I should say, against the English. How long? Oh, no, I read that one, didn't I? Everyone calling this a rebuild. For New Zealand, this is not a rebuild, in my opinion. This is a transition period. Their championship window is still wide open, says DJ Shaq, although it was always considered a rebuild when it's outside of that Rugby World Cup. Like straight afterwards, no matter who the coach is, no matter what the team is, they always just quote it as that rebuild. Good morning, boss. Scottish blood, I'll never support England, plus huge respect for New Zealand. A high five from South Africa, bro, a tie, hello, upper class commentary. Says Warren there, and the All Blacks victory, big scores to the AB, says Kit Dyer. And Mackenzie's time, my favourite double-edged sword, says Decado. And there, what you're watching the game on, we are watching it on Sky Sport 1 here in New Zealand. There is also the option of Stan Sport. If you are in Australia, there is the option of Super Sport. If you are in South Africa, I honestly do not know what the option is if you are in England, but I assume there are plenty of them, maybe even free-to-air TV up in the Northern Hemisphere. They are just showing Cody Taylor warming up. And not only is he warming up, he is doing an interview at the same time. I can't even walk and talk at times, but this man is jogging while warming up, probably done about 5Ks already, and they're just chatting away to him like it is a casual stroll, hey? The Suit Lad Game Time says Mr. All-In. And score prediction for the Warriors, I don't actually know who they're playing, to be honest. He scores Razor because his team will get circumcised. I think that's what I Am Nutty's tried to say. New Zealand by 10 says Claus, and Cody Taylor will score a try, says Trust. And then you, brother New South Wales, Australia's Owen Farrell playing. Even his own team, mates didn't like him. He is not playing in this contest, no. They have got the options of Marcus Smith, and then off the bench they have got the youngster Finn Smith. Or Fletcher Smith, Finn Smith, one of the two. It starts with an F and ends with Smith. Maybe I'm misinformed, but always down for a conversation. But with a new coach and players switching out, will there not be a rebuild? Says RTX. I think so. My prediction, 23-18 for Daniel there. The Warriors are playing the Bulldogs. And they are looking forward to one more. Yeah, Safa Moore going to be making his way off the bench. Now, I should mention there is still plenty to come for these two sides, ladies and gentlemen. In terms of this All Blacks side, they have got England next week. That is going to be a 7:05 p.m. kickoff here in New Zealand. So pretty much as soon as this game kicks off, 7 days' time, that is when the next one will be taking place. And then the All Blacks are actually heading over to the USA to take on the Fijians. That is 2:30 p.m. New Zealand time. That will be on the Saturday as well. So a nice early kickoff for us on that round. We've got two massive rounds of rugby, though, with New Zealand taking on England, Wales taking on Australia, Ireland taking on South Africa, France taking on Argentina. The list could go on. There are plenty of big games that are happening over the next 2 weeks. Amish on us insight, New Zealand by how much? Who's the MVP for the season ahead, says Warren. So for myself and my prediction, I believe I went 25-18 or something along those lines. Why can't you show the game? Because it is illegal. You know, why can't you rob a store? Because you're not allowed to. So, like, it's the same kind of boat with this. I would be robbing someone who has paid for licensing if I was to redistribute it. All Blacks fans already asking by how much will they win. It'll be funny if the result goes the other way, says Albert. I mean, it can. At the end of the day, the last time these two sides played in Dunedin, it was only split by 1 point. The thing is, like, no matter who you think's going to win, people are going to have their score predictions, aren't they? And, you know, some of them will be right, some of them will be wrong. We'll have to wait and see how it ends up going. They are just showing Stephen Petafeta warming up on the kicking tee. I wonder whether or not him and Damian McKenzie perhaps will be the two warranted kickers in this one. And maybe, no, I don't think you want to give it to Beauden Barrett. And England by 13 or less. And also, we're good there. I'm going to watch the game illegally, says JP. And Ireland versus South Africa will be a great game, says Decado. And we are also going to be covering that one on the channel. Can't rob a store. Now that's factual news, says Warren. And why was Petafeta chosen over Barrett? I believe that is looking a little bit more towards the future. Barrett is getting older. And also, I should mention, Barrett was chosen as a fly half. In terms of the list of the All Blacks players, Beauden Barrett's name was down as fly half. Stephen Petafeta's name was down as outside back. So I think that shows straight away that they do have intentions of having Beauden as the replacement fly half, or perhaps top and tailing or changing over with Damian McKenzie. How do you watch All Blacks if you don't have Sky, says Tasha. Unfortunately, here in New Zealand, there aren't too many options. I believe Prime will have the game, but that will be a little bit later on. I think it normally kicks off at about 9 p.m. If you are watching on Prime, you see 25-19, says Lave. And these are practice matches till we avenge versus the Box, says JDB. And Barrett won't be here forever. Got to look for the future, says D-Boy Beats. And McKenzie subbed off for Beauden Barrett for the win. An exciting player, or an excellent player, but not at 10, says PS Paul Stewart. And I believe he did play a game of club rugby recently. Beauden Barrett came on as the number 22, took on that fly half role. We got to see a little bit of him playing in Taranaki. Artie Savi, actually another New Zealand player who has played recently in a club game. I also saw Duplessis Karefi, a man who missed out on All Black selection, actually did play. Right, we've got here first test match for New Zealand head coaches. The only one who didn't win their first game as an All Blacks head coach was Ian Foster. And that was a draw up against the Australians in 2020. Steve Hansen won 42 points to 10 over the Irish. Graham Henry's first game, he got the win over the English. Someone had a game up against Tonga, 102-0 in favour of the ABs. But yeah, the only coach that they showed on that list that hadn't had a win was Ian Foster. So I wonder whether or not Razor can get off in the right direction, or maybe the worst ever start for an All Blacks coach. It sounds weird to say, but if New Zealand lose this game, that would actually be correct, which is crazy to think. So much sport this weekend to watch. It's so good, says JP. Morning, Hamish. Go the All Blacks. And also, Paul Foss can't catch a break, says JDB. And Xavier Numia would have been selected if it wasn't for that injury. I believe so. I think he had a sensational season. I don't know who he would have been in for, though. We see there Scott Robertson. He is walking around out there on the field at the moment. That is something that isn't normally highlighted for the coaches. He is just walking around stoically looking at his team. He just looks so locked in and focused at the moment for Scott Robertson. He's a very full-on personality. Like, he will be in your face. He will tell you what he's thinking, but that might be exactly what the All Blacks need rather than Fozzie, who was just like, oh, yeah, you know, it happened, but that's all right. We'll get the next one. The referee has been paid by the King of England, says Trust. And also, we got their bad news. And how many matches has All Blacks beat England? 33, I believe it is. They've won 77% of the time. They have drawn 2, and England have won about the 8, I believe, are the odds. We have got there, go to Supersport on 201 and 211. Does he give you Rassi vibes? No. No, he's kind of like, I don't even know what type of vibes he gives. He doesn't give me Rassi Erasmus vibes. But he gives me very much so, you know, he's just, in terms of the facial expression, he's walking around like this. And he just looks like he's ready to throw hands. But, of course, he probably isn't. I don't think that would go too well if the coach has a punch-up on his very first day in charge. Mate, don't underestimate the Aussies. They have Joe Schmidt, says JDB. This is an attacking squad, says Moss. It is, like, New Zealand have gone with quite a small backline in terms of weight, and that's not a bad thing. It just says more than likely they are going for more of a running game rather than going up for those high balls or the crash ball. You know, they're going to try and keep this one moving around quickly. Only Supersport guys, SABC no longer broadcasting in South Africa, says Xander. And I love these two teams. Most epic game is Springboks versus All Blacks, and TJ will be playing a fast-paced game, says Claus, and yeah, he has to. At the end of the day, the only way that they can get these wingers like Mark Dallaire, Sevu Reece, get them heavily involved is if that ball is going out there as quickly as possible, as often as possible as well. But we see Marcus Smith at the moment just warming up with some drop kicks. That one was a shocker, only went about 3 metres off the ground by the looks of it. It's not what you want. Throughout this game, New Zealand called the All Blacks because of blackbirding of Pacific Island talent. Says I am nutty. At least you learn how to use capitals for that one, Nutty. We have got there who's Hamish, that's me. I hope the Wallabies win, says Reflecting Trees. Yeah, they are going to be the next game that does take place. They are playing in only about 3 hours' time. Their first game under Joe Schmidt. So it's more of, like, for New Zealand and Australia here, it is going to be a big test. It's going to head towards that Bledisloe Cup 2-match series as well. Sever is scoring a try, I'm calling it now. Says Trust, and my prediction is 32-19 for New Zealand, says Vishal. But speaking of New Zealand, once again, for anyone who hasn't seen it, this is the All Blacks starting lineup that they have gone with. And this contest, Ethan de Groot, Cody Taylor, and Tyrell Lomax as the number 3. Scott Barrett and Patrick Tuipulotu will be the locking duo, with Sama Penifina, Dalton Papali'i, and Adi Savia there as the number 8. TJ Perenara and Damien McKenzie will be the 9-10 combination. Perenara, like I mentioned, he's had a lot of games for the All Blacks, but not many starts. Cam Roigard, he was the big talked about player at the start of the Super Rugby Pacific season, but in the end, with that injury, it meant that Perenara had to come back, and he's had a phenomenal season, ended up well and truly cementing himself as the highest try scorer ever in Super Rugby history. In the midfield, Geordie Barrett and Rico Ioane, the tried and tested combination for the ABs. They decided they didn't want to change it here. Proctor and Anton Leonard-Brown, the other two options, have to wait a little bit longer, although not as long for Anton Leonard-Brown, as he will be making his way off the bench. And at this contest, Mark Dallaire out on the left wing, even though he played on the right wing throughout the whole of the Super Rugby Pacific season. Sevu Reece out on the right wing, even though he played the whole of the season on the left wing for the Crusaders. And Stephen Perofeta at number 15. He's jockeyed between 10 and 15 for the Blues. He's had an injury of his own. In fact, when you look through at this All Blacks side, you know, injuries could be a little bit of a concern. Barrett has had an injury. Tuipulotu has had an injury. We've seen Perofeta with the injury. Lomax, I think, had one right at the start of the season as well. And you do hope that they do not end up picking up any bigger injuries throughout this game, Marler, George and Stewart, 227 caps combined for the front row of England is a stat that they've just popped up on the screen. It is certainly experience that you can't buy for this English front row. But looking through at England's side, like I mentioned, Marler, George and Stewart will be the front row. Maro Atoje, a lot of experience. Him versus Barrett intrigues me because I feel like Maro's going to try and get under Barrett's skin. But now that Barrett is the All Blacks captain, he can't really clothesline people. Or at least he probably shouldn't. Although saying that, last year, All Blacks captain did get a card in one of those later games. But it's going to be very intriguing because Maro's going to try and get under the skin. That is just what Maro Atoje does, and that is what he does so well. He infuriates his opposition, and he makes them angry enough to make mistakes to help England. And those lineouts, looks like Ethan de Groot doing some stretches. Looked like he was in a bit of pain doing that. Hopefully he hasn't got an injury of his own. George Martin at number 5. Then Chandler Cunningham himself at 6. Sam Underhill and Ben Earl, a very good loose forward trio. The All Blacks going to have to be right in there, ready to go. I want to see that work rate from Dalton Papali'i that he has for the Blues in this contest up against England as well. Alex Mitchell and Marcus Smith as the 9-10 combination. No Farrell, no Ford for that 10 jersey. Ollie Lawrence as well as Henry Slade in the centre pairing with Tommy Freeman. Also out on the right wing, it is Emmanuel Fiwaboso and George Furbank at number 15. So those are the starting sides, and they are looking extremely strong. I'm so ready and excited to see the All Blacks playing again. First duck and first win for Razor in Dunedin. Says Heaney there. And we have got there in the chat as well. So England is an easy language, says Doctor. I hope D-Mac can contain Smith. And TJ, make your forwards tackle all day, says reflecting in there as well. And that kind of experience that TJ Perenara has, I know that some people don't like him, but I do think he's the right choice for the starting lineup here. They do need someone with that experience at 9, definitely because you go straight from Aaron Smith to either Finlay Christie or Cortez Ratama if they did not have TJ Perenara. We have got there, good evening there, Hamish says Zion, welcome in, hope you are keeping well. And we have got there, who's wearing number 10 for the All Blacks, it is Damian McKenzie. And this one, is this a decent English team, Hamish? I believe so. I think that it is definitely a nice mix of the experienced players and the new guys coming through the ranks. Emmanuel Fiwaboso, like I mentioned, he is definitely one to keep an eye on. What's up, lads? Looking forward to a good game today. There's a Rugby Merlin. And there as well, we have got there as well, New Zealand need to monster England in the scrum. Yeah, although this English front row, they might hold their own in those scrums. I do see Steve Borthwick is down there having a chat to his forwards. They are just showing Chandler Cunningham South. From what I've seen, he has been extremely strong throughout the last 12 months or so. Remember when Peter O'Mahony called Sam Cane a bad Richie McCord? Did that give the All Blacks any motivation to win the quarterfinal? If not, what was it? Says Tane. I mean, you can look at little things in terms of like what helped a side or what motivates a side. The World Cup, for me, is a big enough motivation for any player to want to beat whoever is in front of them. But like for certain players, I mean, Sam Cane, all I was going to say is that if he was being a bad Richie McCaw, he proved it in that final because Richie McCaw, if he did anything that people said he did, he didn't normally get a red card for it, did he? So, it's one of those ones that for Sam Cane, maybe that is what actually cost him in that World Cup final because he got too fired up. He was too ready to try and go out there and prove the haters wrong, as they say. But overall, like, players will have their own motivations, their family, like their club, anything like that for each individual. I usually love TJ, but his bleating in the Super Rugby semi-final was not the one, brother. Says, greet the sacred cow. Oh, yeah, like, don't get me wrong. TJ is one of the most annoying players in the world of rugby today in terms of the yapping that he does to the referee. But, in terms of the way that he's played, he's done quite well throughout the season. Worst AB's coach in living memory, Mitchell, says NGM. Well, I mean, they showed it there, though. No one has lost their first game as an All Blacks coach. Ian Foster drew his first game, but no one has lost one. So, statistically, I know that it's really, really crazy to say, but statistically, if Scott Robinson's AB side lose this game, at this current point in time afterwards, he would be considered the worst coach in All Blacks history. just for that very brief time until, of course, they start picking up some wins in the future. Up the All Blacks, says Steve Shanks. Did New Zealand's backline slim down? Says Claus. I mean, a little bit. I expected to see someone like a Caleb Clark, but that might be maybe a rib injury from that Super Rugby Pacific final. Might be why he is not there. Amoni Narawa's got a little bit more size than Mark Talia, I believe, in terms of weight, but they have gone with Talia and Reese. Under the high ball, I think is going to be somewhere that the All Blacks are tested out on those wings, because England have got the ability to kick that ball in behind and just keep on forcing you back in the territory department until you do eventually concede. AB's tackling out Bongi's leg in the final because they knew we didn't have marks on the bench, says Albert. And there's one up the All Blacks, says Steve Shanks. Who was worse, Ian Foster or John Mitchell? I mean, it could be debated for a while, couldn't it? But at the end of the day, it's been and gone. This new era, the All Blacks are trying to create a little bit of history of their own. I see Caleb Clark actually warming up in the background. Maybe he would have been all right to play in this. Wait. Is Mark Talia playing in this game? He's got his... Oh, yeah, no, he's running around in his jumper. He looked like he was less ready to go than Caleb Clark. But Caleb Clark has got a 15... Oh, no, there's Ruben Love. Never mind. Okay, they've just got a spare backline at the moment for the All Blacks. They are out on the field with Caleb Clark, Ruben Love, Amoni Narawa, all those players. But yeah, for a second, it looked like Mark Talia wasn't even ready to play for this one. Ratima's been the best halfback this season and was fantastic last season too. Hope he gets a look in next week, says Brian. And yeah, I think it's for the All Blacks here about securing this first game so that you can then experiment a little bit with the second. What time's kick off, bruv? At the moment, bruv, it is only 20 minutes away from this game getting underway. So it is pretty close at the moment. We're probably only 10 minutes away from the national anthems, and then the haka, and then this first test match between these two sides will be underway for 2024. The last time that they played in Dunedin, it was almost a decade ago. The All Blacks winning that game by 1 point. Look, you don't pick players because you know them, says Spider Mech, and there as well. So who are you complaining about? Spider Mech, Sam Cane and Foster now, Geordie Barrett and Razor. You're not saying Geordie Barrett doesn't deserve a spot at 12, are you? Because who would you put at 12 instead? Quintal Pire? Because every other player that they've got in the squad at the moment have played 13 throughout the regular season. So I'd assume you're saying Quintal Pire is your only other option at 12 currently. Because Anton Leonard-Brown, if you're basing it off the Super Rugby Pacific season, you would be playing him at 13 in this one. Billy Proctor, he only played 13 throughout the regular season. Rico Ioane only played 13 throughout the regular season. So who's your 12? Oh my goodness, Hamish, old chap, you have a shirt and tie on. Very apt young chap. Come on, the ABs. Jody is the best 12. I reckon they will do Kapo Punga. New Zealand number 12 threw away their World Cup, says Xander in there as well. And who's your favourite New Zealand player, says Daniel. Well, I mean, there's a few that I'm looking out for in this contest. They are just showing Emmanuel Fiwa-Bosso. Of course, he will be one to look out for the English. They're just showing some of his highlights. Played 4 tests, has got himself 2 tries. And he's got a very handy career under him already, and a bright one in the future as well. I'm not speaking to you, calm your Bill Tom, says greet the sacred cow. Cool customer, says reflecting trees. And also we have got there in the chat, All Blacks kickoff delayed due to syncing clocks with Tonga, Samoa, Fiji teams need to sync. Says I'm nutty. That is not true. He's our vice captain. Of course he's playing. Says reflecting trees. We have no good number 12 in New Zealand. That's why Geordie was converted. Otherwise, he would be fullback. And will Bowden Barrett do better at fly half or fullback, do you think? See, late in the game, I feel like Bowden is extremely handy in that number 10 jersey just to help get things going forward. But I would say if it's earlier on in the game, I wouldn't mind seeing Bowden at number 15. But I think in this contest in particular, you have to give Perafeta as many minutes under his belt as you can. Who is the referee? It is the Georgian referee, whose name I always forget. I think his first name's Nina. Or it's got Ninashvili or something in there, I believe. Unless I'm thinking of a UFC fighter. Hamish, where is your brandy and biltong for this important game? Says Xander. Sadly, I've got... No, I mean, not very sadly, but I've got a big bottle of water. That's handy enough. Hi, Hamish, good to see you, mate. Come on, the ABs. Says Daniel Watson. And there as well. But less than 20 minutes away from the kickoff in this contest, ladies and gentlemen. Ref is good, says I am nutty. I've heard the one critique that people have said about this referee is that he can be quite strict in the breakdown. So both of these sides will have to take that on, and we'll have to see whether or not they are able to adjust. I almost just tipped that down my front. That would have been a bit of a shame. The headline they've got is Marcus Smith, how does he fill the void of 112 tests, fly half Owen Farrell. Now that's quite the headline. Mitchell, the worst coach in living memory because he sacked the greatest fullback of all time, Kristen Cullen. And fun fact, history of New Zealand versus England, 43 matches, New Zealand winning 33 of them. Of course, 2 draws and 8 wins for the English as well. But the English, of their 13 last games, they have won 10. The 3 that they have lost by less than a 10-point margin. So those thinking that the All Blacks will be able to run away with this game, of course, showing confidence. But is it going to be the case here in Dunedin, or are England going to keep it close like the last time these two sides played almost a decade ago and only be split by the 1 point? So did they change the scrum rule after the World Cup? Says Xander, they did, and they've also got quite a few other new rules that they have added. And I believe for these ones, we are going to get to see, like I mentioned a little bit earlier on, or I think it might have actually been in the preview, we are going to get to see, like you said, the free kicks off scrums rather than the resets. In terms of the TMO, I think we're back to the old rules at the moment, which means they can only go back 2 phases. Now, I could be wrong, and as soon as this game starts, we will get to see whether or not that is the case. G'day, mate. Good to be back here again. The new All Blacks journey begins. Let's get on the Razor Wagon, says Dallas. And there is, I hope the ref keeps the tempo flowing. Says reflecting trees. Okie dokie boys, starting up stand, says JDB. But Israel Dag, at the moment, he is doing the TAB shout out. By the looks of it, going down the tunnel for his side that he was a part of in the past. But looking through at the bench, there is no Israel Dag here. Instead, it is Anton, Leonard Brown, Bowden Barrett, and Finley Christie. Now, like I said in that lineups video initially, Bowden Barrett being 23 rather than 22, we don't need to read into that too deeply, but you could argue that Bowden Barrett has been selected as the replacement fullback in this game rather than the replacement 10. As if he was the 10, maybe they would have put him at number 22. Luke Jacobson, Tupavai, 2 other Chiefs in the reserves, and then Fletcher Nall, Tonga Fasi, and Asafa Moa through 3 different sides all coming together for the All Blacks front row replacements. Theo, Dan, Baxter, and Cole will be the front row replacement. Coles, Curry as the other 2 forward replacements, then Spencer, Smith, and Slate home. So for the English, of course, they want their starting lineup to get a majority of the work done so that these young players off the bench can then roam a little bit more free, have a little bit less pressure on them, just enjoy the experience. Like I said, first time in 10 years that we are seeing the English here in New Zealand, which is absolutely crazy to think because in the last 10 years, these two sides have probably played about 6 or 7 times, every single time being either in a World Cup or being in England. Your pre-show is better than Stan and Sky Sport, says JDB, although these suits I think are a little bit better than mine. I haven't got me jacket for this one. Can we have a poll? How many dots on Hamish's shirt and tie combined? I'm guessing 345. Seems about right. There's a lot though. Like looking through, the tie is the same as the shirt, and it just keeps on going. So you'd have to know the length of the shirt, I would say, so you have your best crack of getting it right. What happened to Captain McCain? Says, wait, McCain? You're talking about Sam Cane, I assume, rather than, because McCaw's quite close to that as well. But Sam Cane playing in Japan at the moment, a nice lucrative deal, a lot of money playing for the Japanese League One, which is great to see for him at the end of his career. You better commentary than JK, says JDB. Good afternoon, Hamish. Shirt and tie for this match, says Blues Nate. And yeah, we are going to have the shirt and tie for all of the matches today, I believe anyway, until the tie does get too tight, then we might consider taking it off a bit later, but not in that way. We're not doing a strip show on the channel. Captain McCain, you've done it again, says Garit, the sacred cow. But the warm-ups have been done, ladies and gentlemen. They are now in the tunnels, and they are ready to go for this massive matchup. Henry Slade, Ollie Lawrence in the midfield for the English. A lot of power coming there for Lawrence. The speed of Slade. Geordie Barrett and Rieko Ioane for the All Blacks. The power of Barrett. He is actually the largest back that the All Blacks have got in this contest by quite a bit, in fact. A lot of the other players a little bit smaller. Zippy, I think, is the best way of describing this AB's backline. Hamish, you're the only New Zealander I like, says Albert. And that is a massive compliment, isn't it? There's about, 5 million of us, and I have somehow slipped through the crack and got out of there. Hamish looks all handsome in his shirt and tie, doesn't he? Says Imran there. Will your mum be providing a halftime drink, Hamish? Says Andrew. Not that I know of. We might be able to get them on for the post-match review because we are going to be doing one of those before the Australia versus Wales game does take place. Looking slick there, brother Hamish. Says Marco, welcome in, mate. I'm sure you are excited for this matchup. I'm looking forward to seeing Joe Marler play, says Terry. I'll be honest, the last game that I actually saw Joe Marler play, it was that Harlequins versus Toulouse game, and I think it was the semi-final of the Champions Cup. And unfortunately for him in that game, you know, that little slap on the back of the head of Thomas Ramos ended up hurting the Harlequins' chances. Looking smart in your official test match kit. Thanks for the commentary, my friend. Hamish has a modern day streaker. No thanks. Keep the tie on, says Peter Wild. And Simran, get your head in the game. Red card, says JDB. Good morning, Hamish. Nervous, but I believe in Razor. And Geordie is the largest. Need a big 12. Hamish dressed to strip down, it seems. Ladies have joined the channel. Nice, says Warren. I should mention, anyone who is new to the channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button. We are on the road to 50,000 subscribers. And we are getting close to it. We are currently only sitting around 1,600 away. So if you haven't already, be sure to hit that subscribe button, like I mentioned, as we are going to be here for a majority of the upcoming matches that are taking place on the channel. So if you do want to help us out, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Your team colours are Argentina, no blue and white. Says I am nutty. How much longer, people? We are only sitting 13 minutes away now. So very close to the start of this contest. Where's the blazer, mate? It is hiding, unfortunately. This is actually a different shirt to what I normally have on as well, but I decided to mix it up a little bit. New year, new shirt. I guess just logged on. Thought I might miss some of the game. Glenn in the UK, so welcome in. I should mention good morning to all of those watching in the Northern Hemisphere as well as South Africa. Us here in New Zealand, it is an evening game. Hopefully you guys have already had your dinner or your breakfast, depending on where you are, and you are ready to go for 80 minutes of rugby action between these two sides. This is when the nerves start to kick in for the teams and also for the supporters alike. 12 minutes away from the first minute of rugby for New Zealand in 2024 and the first minute of their rugby under Scott Robertson. No All Blacks coach has gone on to lose a game after the World Cup. The first match, that is. 9, I think in total, or 8 in total, all wins plus 1 draw. So we're going to have to wait and see whether or not that record can continue, or will this be considered a terrible start for Scott Robinson. Also, a no All Blacks coach, new coach that is, has lost their first game. The closest to a loss was Ian Foster with the draw. Where's George? Says David the Mold. I believe he is watching this at his house with his family. He will be excited for this one to see how the All Blacks go. Are you also doing the Box versus Ireland? We certainly are, alongside Wales, Australia, and also France versus Argentina. My head is in the game. Thank you, ABs, all the way, says Simran there. And we have also got their thoughts on the jersey. I mean, I like that they tried to make it the old school jersey. You know, it's got the big collar, but I think it depends on how many buttons they do up, which sounds really weird to say. But you know, in the olden days when they used to have the jersey on, it used to be like 1 or 2 buttons were always ripped off. So it looked a little bit more rustic. Whereas now, if they have the buttons all done up right to the top, they do look like they're going to be preaching something. Smash them Poms ABs, says Obi there. Morning, afternoon, mate. Says Felicia, I hope you are doing extremely well, mate. Dunedin, the location of this game, about a 6 or 7 degrees contest here between these two sides as they are just about to make their way out of the tunnel for the first test match of a 2-match series. I think ever since we've got very close to the kickoff, I have started talking a lot quicker, so hopefully we don't run out of air by the end of this one. Shirts make them look like Undertakers, says Glenn there. You know what haka they are doing? I do not know, but as soon as we see, of course, we will let you know that's a wins or not. I hope 6 side by you and not a stretchy. I'm not sure what that means, but I did a double Windsor, believe it or not. Decided that I'd go with the double rather than the single. That collar is too big and too floppy, says Fleshin. And there as well, and that collar is too big, makes look like a French-made dress, says Albert. But they are just showing the starting lineups once again, so we will do the same, ladies and gentlemen, for the All Blacks. In their starting lineup, Ethan de Groot, Cody Taylor, and Tyrell Lomax. The 3 that they had throughout their Rugby World Cup, and I believe this game will be no different. They are going to be keeping that for maybe the next 12 months or so, see whether or not it works, or whether maybe new changes just on the horizon. Scott Barrett and Patrick Tuipulotu. Barrett having injury troubles throughout Super Rugby Pacific. His side, the Crusaders, not doing great. He is the captain of the All Blacks here, though, and he is partnered with Patrick Tuipulotu, a man who had a phenomenal Super Rugby Pacific season. That final up against the Chiefs certainly proved why he should be in that locking duo for the AB. Summer Benny Finau at 6 has got size and speed. Dalton Papali'i, Attack the Machine, and Artie Savia at number 8 returns from Japan to take on the back of the 4 back. TJ Perenara gets his first start in a very long time for the All Blacks under Aaron Smith. TJ didn't get too many opportunities, but now he is going to be back. And at this AB side, he's also had an Achilles injury, so he has taken around 2 years to come back from that. Had a great season for the Hurricanes in Super Rugby Pacific. Damian McKenzie as the 10, and then Geordie Barrett and Rieko Ioane in the midfield combination. Tried and true, what has been tested for the All Blacks and has proven to work in the past. Geordie Barrett with that boot, and also Rieko Ioane with the pace on the outside. Mark Talia and Sevu Reece out on the wings. Talia on the left, Reece on the right for this contest with Stephen Petafeta. Massive opportunity for him to start at number 15. For the English, experience for days in the front row. Joe Marler, Jamie George and Will Stewart will be the front row. Maro Itoje, the nuisance as people like to call him, but he's an extremely talented player. Line-out steals are often high when Maro Itoje is on the field, and that English rolling maul seems to always find itself going forward. George Martin will be there as the number 5. Cunningham South, 6. Sam Underhill, 7. And Ben Earl as the number 8. I am looking at Ben Earl as the player to watch out for here in this loose forward trio. He is an absolute talent, and I hope that he does have a big game like he had throughout the Rugby World Cup. Alex Mitchell and Marcus Smith, they are going to be their 19 combo in this contest. Then Ollie Lawrence alongside Henry Slade, and then Freeman, Fiuaboso out on the right wing, and George Furbank at number 15. But Marcus Smith, age 25, has now just made his way out onto the field. He's had 33 test matches. Hamish, I hope your voice can hold up to the bot game at this rate. And as of July, the new rules of the scrums come into effect. Do you think it will play a big role in this game? I don't think it will play as much of an effect in this game as what we would see in terms of the other contests. But, you know, it could still impact it a little bit. Both of these sides are known for having a bit of a push at a scrum, and you need a blazer with a Kiwi Lads monogram on it. Might have to be a purchase that we make by the end of the season. The last 5 meetings, England, the last 2 times that they have met, England won the game in 2019, 19 points to 7, and then also alongside that we do see the 25-25 draw that we witnessed between the two sides just a little bit ago. And someone should tackle that, Smith, says Renier. And Papali'i shut down Smith, says Reflecting Trees. And Damian McKenzie's time, says Huntley. But the two sides making their way out onto the field. Multi-skilled Hamish doing Fashion TV outtakes now. Our dude deserves a sponsor, says Warren. And you look bloody fabulous, champ, says Moss. And as well, but the All Blacks with their big white collars making their way out onto the field at Dunedin. Stephen Petafeta, 27 years of age, just 3 test matches, one of which he got about 30 seconds at the end of a contest the All Blacks were going to lose. Ian Foster said, let's see if you can do something. And unfortunately didn't even touch the ball. Made 1 tackle in that debut for Stephen Petafeta. But he is now ready to take this jersey on with both hands. Look to have a massive start in this matchup. But we're about to have the national anthems, ladies and gentlemen. Just quickly, while they are doing the national anthems, we will look through at the benches for these two sides. For New Zealand, Asafa Moa, Ofa Tuangafasi and Fletcher Null. Tupava'i and Luke Jacobson, the 2 Chiefs players, will be there as the 19 and 20. Then Finlay Christie, Anton Leonard-Brown and Bowden Barrett, the back replacements for New Zealand. Theo Dan alongside Finn Baxter and Dan Cole as the front row replacements. Coles and Curry as the other 2 forward replacements, and then Spencer, Smith, and Slate home for the English backs. But do let me know your score prediction, ladies and gentlemen. We have got our first donation of the channel. Thank you very much, mate. Guess who's back? All Blacks again, up to Waz, says Meanez. And there as well. But yeah, do let me know your score predictions in this game, ladies and gentlemen. We are close to the kickoff in this matchup. It is going to be an absolutely awesome one, a great way to start this weekend. So tell me, Hamish, is that suit that we're at the wedding? Says Morning at the Grange. It is. And New Zealand big collar is to blame for choking. Says I am nutty. And the white collar is back. Gonna be a tangi, says Blues Nate there as well. But God Save the King has just been sung by the English, which now means we are ready to go for the New Zealand national anthem, followed by the haka, then followed by kickoff. And this match, 69-0 for New Zealand. New Zealand by 10. AB's 35-10. New Zealand says cross-boarding. It does seem like a lot of people back in the All Blacks to get themselves the win. Now, a little bit of an interesting stat as well, just as we get close to the kickoff in this contest. New Zealand have never not won a game 3 times in a row up against the English. They are currently on a loss and a draw streak, so they have to try and change that, or else Razor not only would have the first ever loss for an All Blacks coach after a Rugby World Cup in the very first follow-up game, he would also have the worst losing streak per se for the All Blacks up against the English, and he would have the first loss to England in New Zealand in an extremely long time. So this is a lot of pressure on a new coach, but that is the type of pressure that can make a diamond, and we will have to wait and see whether or not tonight will be a diamond of a night for Scott Robertson, a New Zealand Navy represented by a canoe. We have got now, I hope, the ref from Aussie or South Africa. He is from Georgia. Fun fact, 87% of the poll picked the ABs. Hope the referee is French. He is not. He is from Georgia. And 26 points to 12 to the All Blacks. Says, Daryl, we are actually going to see a French ref for Australia versus Wales. But Sam Cane, he is actually in the bunker, I believe that was, alongside Amoni Narawa. He did train with the side throughout this week. And I believe we are seeing quite a few other names added into that All Blacks camp. Not so much into the squad, but just into the camp, getting some training minutes in as they do build to, oh, geez, she's gone for it there. Whoever that is, the lady singing, she was screaming it from the top of her lungs. Kiwi Lads Best commentator says Lewis Smith. Thank you very much. Anyone who is new, of course, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. The national anthem has come to a close, and Scott Barrett's first game in charge as captain is now about to get underway. After, of course, the haka. Who's the ref? It is the Georgian referee, Ninashvili, I want to say is his name, but that might also just be Marab Ninashvili from the UFC. I think I've got the wrong name. In Georgia, says Spider-Meat. But yeah, the Georgian referee in charge, the one Georgian referee that everyone knows but no one knows his name. He's the one in charge of this one solid anthem. And we have got the Australia versus Wales. Has to be the most uninteresting international in recent years. Both teams garbage. I would disagree. I feel like that is one of the reasons that it is so intriguing, because new coach for Joe Schmidt for the Australians. He's gone with the youngest ever side in terms of the amount of debutants that the Aussies have got in 44 years. Wales having a good first half up against South Africa, but then struggling in the second. This is their opportunity for a bit of redemption under Warren Gatland. And it's just around the corner, only 2.5 hours away. But Joe Marler, he is smiling at the All Blacks haka here. They don't have Owen Farrell to smirk, so Marler has taken that role and decided it is his. But TJ Perenara leading the All Blacks haka here in this contest. Sounds like Kamate, I believe. If I am correct, the English Lucies will get a knighthood in around 80 minutes. Says Shane Wigmore there, and Georgia lost to Fiji in Georgia's test last night. They certainly did. If let's go, it's TJ, says Rugby Merlin, and there as well. But Maro Itoje also looking happy at the moment. And we have got their revenge against Fiji and New Zealand. Did you say debutants or debutantes? Debutantes is that one there. But Cody Taylor, he is angry at the moment as well. We've got to remember, this is the first match for the All Blacks since their Rugby World Cup final. They want to right those wrongs. They want to go out here and make a statement up against this English side. And Artie Savia, he wants to do that in the number 8 jersey, going head-to-head with Ben Earl in this contest. Both men, different stages of their careers, but both at the top of their game. Cody Taylor standing at the front of the haka. I'm confused what the colour of that tie. Says Monet, it is blue with a little bit of light blue as the trim. And hi, says Blues Nate, welcome in, mate. Hope you are doing extremely well. But that is the haka done for the All Blacks, which does mean we are moments away from the kickoff in this first test match for these two sides in the July internationals. It is only a 2-match series, so you have to get off to a great start. And that is exactly what both of these sides will be aiming for here. I suppose it's too late to go for a dump, probably, unless you can get it done in 30 seconds, which if you could, I would be extremely impressed, but be sure to wipe as well. But now, do let me know the first try scorer in this contest that you think it will be, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to say Severis has got a pretty good chance for the ABs. Definitely if they are opting to play that running game that we think that they will. But now the referee in charge of this one, it is Nika Amushukeli. who is in charge of this one. Nick Berry, assistant referee from Australia. Jordan Way, the other assistant from Australia. And then Eric Gauzans is the French TMO. Big game for Amish Kelly, whose name I still can't remember, even though it just showed it on the screen. But the huddle has been done. We are now ready to go for this match, ladies and gentlemen. 21-year drought. England are chasing their first win on New Zealand soil since 2003. Now, in 2003, I was 4 years old. Now I wear a random suit on a live stream. Times have changed since then. Of course, 21 years is a long time, but England want to stop that record and get their own. As their little stars on that tie, almost. It's a little bit similar to the shirt as well. TJ first try, but now it will be New Zealand who will be kicking this one off from right to left in Dunedin for this first game of the All Blacks season since the World Cup. What can they do? The countdown, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And Mackenzie gets it underway for the All Blacks, kicking off deep into the 22 where Alex Mitchell waits, and he will look to clear the lines, but he doesn't manage to find touch. This gives the opportunity to the All Blacks back three. Here comes Stephen Petafeta, big shot on him low from Sam Underhill. Perenara on the halfway line and behind Tuipolotu. Rush defence from the English doesn't work out. Ioane now fires it out wide to Mark Talia on that left wing in this contest rather than the right that he played. But Maro Itoje gets the turnover for the English. Clean as a whistle. He gets in, gets out, and gives the English the possession. Now Marcus Smith passes on the outside to Slade. Waikato pass to Freeman, who's dropped the ball. Reese pops it up to Barrett, who offloads on the inside to Summer Penny. Finau wrestled into touch, and England will have the line out. I was older than you are now, Hamish, in 2003, says Novmum. And also we have got there, you couldn't pick a stronger combo of refs, or stranger combo of refs, says Albert. What haka was it? I believe it was Kamate for this one, but just a little bit over the top of Tommy Freeman. He went for the catch, but ball popped free, and Sevu Reece was able to create a little bit more of an attacking chance for the ABs. But now Jamie George with his first line out goes straight to Chandler, cutting himself. Ben Earl breaking off the back, goes away to Ollie Lawrence, tackled low by Reece. Now New Zealand have got Reece out on that right wing for this season, by the looks of it anyway, and he is one of those players who loves to get into the breakdown, look for those turnovers. Box kick from Mitchell goes down to Damian McKenzie, well taken from him, and he's tackled by Tommy Freeman. Perenara keeping that ball moving, goes off to Dalton Papali'i. Another low tackle made by Underhill. It was a workhorse of his own. TJ Perenara tries the cross kick, just a little bit overcooked, or at least Rico wasn't able to line that one up. And it is now going to be another English line out. But we have already seen a cross kick attempted from the All Blacks in the first 2 minutes under the Razor era. And 33 back then. I have clothes older than you, Hamish. Looks like a lot of nerves on both sides, says Mark there. And yeah, little moments in this game is going to be what changes it and what kind of differentiates who was able to get themselves that nice early lead. Jamie George, contested by Tuipolotu, wasn't able to get it. Now Smith, short ball to Earl, tackled by Taylor on the halfway line. Mitchell again will go for the up and under kick. Chasing hard, but this one will be two of the English players, one of which being Emmanuel Fiuaboso. Now Perenara looking to both sides. Toje waiting patiently to rush up. Here comes Savia on their own 22 now, the All Blacks. It's inside of the 22, says Amasha Kelly. So now TJ Perenara will look for the exit of his left foot. If he can get this ball out, he's been told to use it. Cannot take too long. He's still waiting. Oh, referee would have been extremely close to telling him that it's going to be the scrum for the English there. But now 40 metres out. Decent exit from DJ, who's the referee for the Springboks Test match. It is Luke Pearce of England who will be in charge of that contest. But Jamie George again now is going to have another throw here. Taking his time. Goes to the back. Oh, stolen by Summer Penny Finau. But the ball bounces back to Mitchell, who does knock it on. And it will now be a scrum for the All Blacks. Hamish, could you please put up your clock for the game? Trying to make you my commentary, but we aren't synced, thanks. Says Mark, so at the moment for me, I've just taken away the clock, but it was 33 seconds in the third minute. But I'll let you know as soon as it comes back up so that you can sync up. Currently for me, it is 3 minutes 47 on the clock. And this is going to be the first scrum of the contest, ladies and gentlemen. England, huge amount of experience in that front row, combined 227 caps for those men. Joe Marler looking forward to the challenge of the ABs. Gerbro says Royal there, and Georgia, keep Georgia off my mind, sung by Willie Nelson. Ref from City of Atlanta, and Taylor to score the first try, says Moss in there. The pack weight, 33 kgs in favour of the All Blacks, who do have a 935 kg forward pack. But now, first scrum. Of course, under the new laws, it means that if we have a reset, that's the penalty to England. New Zealand with the early push. Yes, they've lost their footing. I think that was because England did go backwards, though, but it is going to be the early penalty going the way of the English. And this is a chance to add 3 points onto the board. Don't need live stream with Hamish commentating. Hamish is better than visual. I don't know about that. I mean, visuals are great. We can't discount those, but we're going to see the scrum here. Yeah, the All Blacks pushed. They had nothing to push up against. England kind of buckled and went backwards, but they had to keep their feet underneath them, which is why England do get themselves the penalty. And great look with your attire, Hamish, watching from Vanuatu and enjoying your commentary. And Papali'i shifted over to the other shoulder, says Mr. Orlin. Now Marcus Smith, 85% accuracy during his test career, 60 successful, 71 attempted. Ominous sign at scrum time already, says Shane Wigmore. And there as well. So Joe Marler having a bit of a chat there with Maro Itoje in the background, but this is Smith's first opportunity of this series to add points on the board. I am looking sharp, bro. Let's go ABs, says Laurie there. And he has missed it just away to the left-hand side. He got a decent amount of distance on it. Just drifted to the left at the end. So the score does remain at 0-0 between these two sides after the 6 minutes. But Damian McKenzie now has got himself the opportunity to go for the 22 dropout. Okay, so long down the middle of the field, nicely taken by England with Alex Mitchell running it back now. It is going to be the youngster Freeman. In fact, no, Furbank is the man who did have that explosive carry. Now a little kick in behind, attempted from Henry Slade, well cleaned up by Artie Savia after being partially charged down by Patrick Tuipulotu. That is a sneaky bit of play there from Ollie Lawrence. Manages to get his foot on the All Black side of the ruck and rips it back onto the side of the English, who are now rallying with an attack. Alex Mitchell 30 metres out from the try line. Counter-up coming from New Zealand, and they have got the ball back. Lomax goes to Petanata. Now Barrett on the outside. Petafeta finds Reese with no space whatsoever to work. It does have to cut back infield. Ben Earl is asking whether or not that ball is out. Referee says no. Petanata going back across there. Damian McKenzie rush defence on Barrett, and it causes the error. Very wide. Bosso tackled by McKenzie. 5 metres out, but they are going back for something. There was a knock-on from England. Fiwa Bosso almost got himself his first try of this competition. Knocked forward in the tackle. Rush defence from Slade, who then knocked it on out of the hands of Geordie Barrett. That was marginal as well. Must have just got their hand to it at the wrong time. Go the ABs from Scotland, says Redhead Celtic Viking. And no, says Dunedin. And is Cortez Ratama playing tonight? He is not, no. They have got Finley Christie off the bench. And in the starting lineup, they have, of course, gone with TJ Perenara. Now, 8 minutes in, and already we've seen that English really early rush defence pressure on this All Blacks backline to try and cause the errors. Now, that is something, though, that if England get wrong, the All Blacks may be able to exploit and find a gap. Kiwis were told there is a Georgian referee. Now they are wondering why he comes from America. Says, I am nutty. Of course, America not having the greatest performance up against the Romanians, actually losing that contest 22-20, I think it was, earlier on today. But TJ Perenara now puts the ball in. Goes down in the front rows. Referee tells them to use it, and McKenzie. Good kick in behind for territory. All Blacks now have England 45 metres out from the English try line. Is this on TV? It is. It is on Sky Sport 1, I believe, later on in New Zealand. It will also be on Prime if you are here in New Zealand. And Georgia State versus Georgia the country, says, I am nutty. Now, we are ready to go for Jamie George. Another line-out throw. I believe this is his fourth already throughout the first 9 minutes. Waits for that one. That is a rough line-out knocked on by England and New Zealand. They will win themselves the penalty there. I think Scott Barrett manages to lock over the ball. Oh no, it's going to be a scrum called here by New Zealand. I believe it was just going back for that initial knock on. All Blacks been in their own half since the game began. Says Shane Wigmore, and I mean, they will be a little bit disappointed with the territory side of things, of course, but at the same time, they will look at it and say, we have had England well and truly attacking us while we've been inside of our own half, and we have not conceded a point as of yet. So I feel like that is another side of looking at it. England has a decent defence coach and tactical analyst, and I support Scotland and whoever plays against England, says Redhead there. All Blacks been in their own half and go England, says Hogg. Now another scrum feed, this one 45 metres out from the English line. See whether or not they can get it right here. Well, we'll go like that and like that. There we go. And hey, Hamish, how are you doing? I'm doing very well. First All Blacks game of the year. We can't complain too much. We got 3 other games that we are covering on the channel as well. But TJ Perenara feeds the ball, a massive scrum there from the All Blacks, and they win themselves the penalty. Big push, driving backwards. That was a statement from Ethan de Groot, who looked like he slightly buckled up and then just kept on pushing as hard as he could. Yes. Possibly fired up about that first penalty going against them. And this one for the All Blacks. And put it in the 22-man, says Mr. All-In. Well, now they've got a decision. Do they want 3 points? They do not. Geordie Barrett is going to kick this one towards the touchline. After standing on Summerpenny Finau's foot by the looks of it. If he misses touch, we may know why. But that one has gone into touch, and this is showing incentive from the All Blacks. They are showing aggression as well. But Ethan de Groot just keeps on pushing. Even when he was half up, he kept on trying to drive through Will Stewart. And line out time says, no, mum, it certainly is. They are only 10 metres out from the line now for the All Blacks. Cody Taylor will throw this one in. Nicely taken by Tui Pilotu. And the rolling ball for the All Blacks decides to give it off to Dalton Papali'i. Good shot on in by Emmanuel Fiuai-Boso around the side. I believe there was the knock on. Yes, it was. Savia, the man who makes the mistake. And it is now going to be a scrum feed for the English just out from their own try line. But Dalton Papali'i, good shot on him by Fiuai-Boso. There is one thing for sure, there is physicality out there on the field at the moment between these two sides, and then just gets knocked out of the hands from Ardie Savia. I think it might have actually been a bit of friendly fire. It might have been Cody Taylor's boot that knocked it out of his hands. And I support Island Mummers and anyone who beats the Selznick, says Kurino Wick there. And Kiwi, says Peter. The last 5 results between these two sides. The last time they played it was 25-25. That was in 2022. The game prior to that, England winning it 19 points to 7. And Simon has said, excellent commentary. Thank you very much, mate. Anyone who is new to the channel, of course, be sure to hit that subscribe button. It is greatly appreciated you all being here for this matchup. We are on the road to 50,000 subscribers. So if you do want to help us get there, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Okay, you're coming in too close, says Amisha Kelly. And another turnover in the, to the motherland, looking ominous for the colonists, says Shane there. And I told you Savia needs a game time since Japan, says Spider. Make a nice tie. Hamish says, annoyed. Thank you very much. I've warned Scott Robinson test matches is going to be easy. I assume your meaning isn't going to be easy. I don't know why you'd warn someone that their job was going to be extremely easy. I feel like you'd have to warn them if it wasn't going to be, wouldn't you? Now Alex Mitchell to feed this ball into the scrum here for the English. And it is set. And that's going to be a free kick to England. Now, because it is a free kick, they are not able to go for a scrum here. They either get to go for a tap or a kick to touch, or just a kick in general. So for Henry Slade, he is going to be going with the kick towards the touchline. So this is almost the equivalent of a mark for the English inside of their 22, but Slade off his left boot puts plenty of distance on it. And this will now be the All Blacks ball from 48 metres from England's line. Just joined any strong contest for the past minutes for both sides, says Mark. I mean, Maro Itoje in the breakdown got himself a big turnover earlier on. In terms of the All Blacks, that wasn't the straightest line out, but it is straight enough, says Amasha Kelly for the ABs. Now looking for the rolling maul. It's marching forward quite nicely as well. It's going to be sacked, but Cody Taylor goes off the back tackle by cutting himself as well as Smith. Perenara going across to Ethan de Groot. England once again, though, that rush defence trying to shut down this All Blacks backline. Geordie Barrett throws himself at the line, falls the wrong way, but they've got the penalty advantage now for the All Blacks. Taylor in behind to Damian McKenzie, looking for the pass out wide, manages to get it to Mark Talia, trying out the quick stepping. They are losing ground here, though, for the All Blacks. Marcus Smith trying to get out of the breakdown, was not able to do so. Lomax, tackled by England. Now flat run from the captain, Scott Barrett, his first touch as an All Blacks captain. Rieko Ioane almost goes through, but just loses his footing as Ben Earl takes him down. McKenzie, nice pass out wide to Severis. Cuts back in around third bank, and that's a good shot from Cunningham South. One thing that cannot be disputed at this stage of the contest is the physicality that England have decided to bring. Here comes Mark Talia, offload on the inside to Tui Palotu. Another tackle made by Emmanuel Fee. Boso Pitafeta with the pick and go. Moves up to the 22. New Zealand making good ground at the moment. They are still under penalty advantage. What a rush tackle that was from Furbank. Perenara passes it into him as he was in an offside position. And they have got another advantage now for the All Blacks. Perenara goes across to Tui Palotu. Couldn't get his offload away to Barrett. Now Perenara back to McKenzie, tries the cross kick. He's got Reese out there who will look for the corner, and he gets there. Reese, the All Blacks on the board after 15 minutes. And Sevu Reese, my pick for first try scorer, has scored first. That never happens. I'll be honest, I never get those right. But Sevu Reese, his first try in 2024, his 16th of his All Blacks career. Hi from the UK, another year. I can't find my wallet to pay Sky. Go the AB, says Bruce. McKenzie with the cross kick out to Sevu Reese. Probably didn't get the distance on that kick that he was initially after, but Reese still strong enough to get round Tommy Freeman and finish the job after the tackle attempt and slide in and score that first try for the All Blacks. The All Blacks are good. England coming in hard, but the ABs are dealing with it, says Mark. And yeah, those couple penalty advantage, big advantage for the ABs to just keep on going forward. And also under penalty advantage, you can afford to go for that cross kick. But Reese happy with that one. And so are the crowd in Dunedin. Damian McKenzie, this is going to be a tough kick right from the sideline. He's got a 72% kicking accuracy at test level. 46 attempted, 33 he has managed to get over. Looking at the posts and some D-Mac magic, says JDB. He had a really nice wide cutout pass earlier on in that play as well for the All Blacks, but McKenzie lining up the kick from the sideline, and it is just away to the right-hand side. So neither man, Smith or McKenzie, have been able to get a kick over throughout the first 17 minutes of this contest, but a nice early try for the AB. Sevu Reese went into the corner and managed to get the try, but Scott Robertson, a little bit of a clap there, of course. First player to score for the All Blacks under Scott Robertson, a Crusader in Sevu Reese. Marley has been subbed. That is true. I'm not sure what's happened to Joe Marler, some sort of injury I would assume, but it brings Baxter onto the field, the young Harlequins representative, I believe he is. And good to be listening to Hamish's commentary again. As an old cow, I love the fire and enthusiasm. Plum in mouth commentary is boredom, says Kernovik, but currently New Zealand are inside of their 22. TJ Perenara rolling it back for another box kick. He's been told to use it though. He is certainly using up those 5 seconds the referee has given him. And that is a fantastic kick from TJ Perenara. That's going to be about a 40-metre territory gain there for the All Blacks. Yeah, Finn Baxter, he doesn't look a day over 12, to be honest. Like, he's got a very young face, but he's 22 years of age. He's on debut tonight for the English. A massive opportunity for him in this game, and he's going to have his hands full up against Tyrell Lomax, who was fired up after that first penalty, went against the ABs. Maro Itoje claims that line out. And now England will look for the rolling maul. You beauty that you got that right the first try, says Moss. Now Alex Mitchell going to go for the box kick. Ethan Group tried to break away from that rolling maul, but wasn't able to do so. McKenzie, not a lot of pressure on him, so it does go down the short side, fends off Fiwai Boso. Now 40 metres out from the line, the All Blacks. Going off to the right-hand side to Ethan Agru, who's chopped down low by Ben Earl. It looks like TJ may consider going for a kick of his own. Yes, he does. No one chasing, though, for the All Blacks. Talia jogging after that one, which gives Marcus Smith plenty of space to be able to run this one forward. Here comes Furbank. Manages to get through one. Perenara has to make the tackle there. Mitchell going to the short side. At the moment, Talia's caught in no man's land. Jogging back for that one too. And the offload goes away to the youngster Finn Baxter. Now, cross to the left-hand side. Smith goes to Earl. They have got numbers on the left-hand side for England and a perfect opportunity of being able to get a little try going. Marcus Smith tries to chip him behind. McKenzie waits for the bounce of the ball and does force it down to make it a goal line dropout. And walk in the park for the All Blacks is bad MSN. I do not think it's going to be a walk in the park. I can tell you that right now. Both of these sides being competitive throughout that first 18 minutes. Now we have got their Marla's HIA. Oh, an HIA for Marla. And if the All Blacks find it difficult to bridge England's defence, wait when Springboks defence comes at them, says Mono Lagrange. Of course, we've got to remember, though, first game of the year for the All Blacks since their Rugby World Cup. But we knew that somewhere along the line someone would mention the Springboks. Now 20 minutes in, it's going to be now George Furbank. Now Alex Mitchell goes off to Cunningham South. Mitchell again, back to Smith. Lawrence tries to grubber him behind. Fioi Bosso chasing after him. McKenzie trying to stay in the field of play. He's got no option but to run that ball into touch. And once again, a brilliant territory gain from the English. Now we have got their Marla soft. Says in a light there. I mean, you don't get to the amount of caps that Joe Marler has played, though, by being soft. You've got to have a bit of fight about you, and that is what Marler normally has, but McKenzie just nowhere to go there. It does get forced over the touchline. Now, chance for Jamie George, who scored. It was Sevu Reece, got the first try of the match for the New Zealanders. Nicely taken by George Martin. Now looping around, cutting himself. Oh, can he get there? No, he can't. He was inches from the try line. Maro Atoje, he's been turned onto his back. They want to check this one, but I believe he may have just been held up there, Maro Atoje. New Zealand leaving a massive gap at the back of their line out. Maro Atoje, I've just read his lips. He said, I think that's good. So we'll have to wait and see whether or not the TMO is in agreement with Maro Atoje. On-field decision is try. I think I've just heard. And Paul Damien says Simrania unfortunately just got trapped with two big men running straight at him. They want to check this ground out. The grounding, I should say. Right. This angle isn't going to show it for us. Lomax turned him over, did he, though? In time. Whether or not he was able to get it down before the turn. Yep. He was grounded for Maro Atoje, and England, the try will stand, and he is the first try scorer of the series for the away side. Just joined in, sounds like England all over the park. What's possession and territory set so far? Says Arthur. I would say that territory has been just that little bit more, well, in fact, I'd almost say 50-50 at the moment. Territory has been more England, but New Zealand slowly fighting back. But of course, a try here. Brilliant run from Cunningham South, making easy meters. No, I think, he said, it looks like, says Maniac. And also we have got there, nice England coming to play rugby. England look good on the counter-attack, says John, but Marcus Smith now, can he look good on the kicking tee? Currently sitting 0 from 1 at the moment. 17 metres out, should be a nice easy conversion for Smith. And he takes a couple steps back, and that one has gone over. England take the lead after 22 minutes. Why do we still do box kicks? This England attack came from a TJ box kick. That is true. On the halfway line, TJ did kick it away. There wasn't anyone chasing. Like I mentioned, Mark Talia was jogging after that ball, which then just left an acre of space for the English to be able to counter-attack, and then they worked their way all the way to the try line. So, you know, it's surprising that the All Blacks would go for a kick on the halfway line. Not something that we are used to seeing. Sevu Reece just flying into the back of Finn Baxter, trying to chase after that kick, but currently sitting on their 22, Alex Mitchell. Dragging that breakdown down was Tyrell Lomax. And Mitchell sends it up high again. ABs will win, says Juan. That one's going to be an awkward one. Barrett flies through and ends up knocking it on, I believe. Although it looks like they're going to say play on. There's a double knock on. First from Earl, then from Tuipulotu. So it will be the scrum feed for the All Blacks once again. AB's first half, always a slow start. Second half should be good to go, says a Blues Nate. And it's an interesting one, isn't it? Because England started slow up against Japan, but in the second half up against the Japanese, that is actually where we started to see England start to really thrive as well. So perhaps both of these sides, more of a second half team that a first and Ireland will win again. Says Bad MSN. All Blacks must fight back. Currently possession is 60% for New Zealand, 57% territory. And then England have had more time inside of the opposition 22 with 54 seconds. But Scott Robertson constantly talking to one of his assistant coaches, relaying a message at the moment. Springboks 22, Ireland 16, says Juan Pierre Bosch. TJ about to feed this one in. Why are you guys wearing winter jackets? Says Robert. Who are we talking, Robert? Big push from the All Blacks. And they've got themselves another penalty advantage. Ardie Savea with the pass through the legs to TJ Perenara. McKenzie goes on the outside to Reese again. Seems like a wing that they are targeting. Marcus Smith, bit of head-on-head contact with Reese, but it was in the process of a tackle, so I don't think it will be looked at. TJ Perenara goes back to McKenzie. Goes to Tuipulotu. Now Perenara tries to snipe round the side, goes to Perafeta, who breaks the line, pass on the outside and into the corner. It is Ardie Savea. Brilliant run from Perafeta. The ones who were saying Barrett should have started, I feel like that one was directly at them from the Blues 15 there. And Ardie Savea scores the try. And that is in the 24th minute now. For the A-Blades, good contest is what we need. Runaway matches are boring. We need proper contests of men, not exhibition matches. Says Kerno Vic, the mighty All Blacks have to keep tight control of the game. Says Maxima. And there as well. Any squad changes to the English squad, or it's the same for the World Cup. No Owen Farrell, no George Ford, no Manu Tuolangi. There's a lot of changes for this English side, but a young, talented team. They've got a lot of potential. The mighty All Blacks, says Russ there. What was Scott Robinson's reaction after England's try? They didn't show it. But I assume he wasn't happy. But the mood is very frosty with the visitors England. Says Juan Pierre Bosch there, but nice try from Ardie Savea. I've just said try number 25 for that man. So Geordie Barrett, actually the one who is given a bit of a team talk at the moment. Co-captain of the ABs. Probability of 49% here for Damien McKenzie. He did miss his last kick at the post. He's going to line up this one. Of course, going to give it a little smile at the post, which always either gets a cheer or a boo from the crowd, depending on whereabouts he is doing it. And this time he's missed again, out to the left-hand side for that kick from Damien McKenzie. He is over-adjusted, gone from too far right to too far left, but 4 phases for the All Blacks to then manage to score that try. Ben Earl, actually the man who missed the tackle, and as soon as that gap opened up, it just showed that there was going to be a lot of work to do for the English, and Ardie Savea back in his pace to go in to the corner. And Boxers New Zealand team is going to be epic. No, did Barrett get it in the end? I think there might have been a knock on there from New Zealand. England have ended up with the possession, and they have now got the opportunity. About 30 metres out, a lot of players out on this left-hand side. Little chip in behind from Henry Slade does not work out, and Reese manages to take it back for the All Blacks, and he will send it long and deep. If it stays in, it's going to be a 50-22 for the All Blacks. Or is it? I think it is. Yes, it is. Just inside of the 22. Brilliant kick downfield from Sevu Reese, who has already scored 1 try. Stop smiling when kicking. Are you concerned about the crowd reaction, or do you want to kick the point? Says Salah there, and lovely attire, mate. Says Goldie Export. Thank you very much, mate. Too easy for the ABs, that. The Felix Stone D not working perfectly. Now nicely taken by Scott Barrett, breaking off the back. Dalton Papali'i goes to Barrett, now to Ioane. Tackled low by Marcus Smith. He's getting a bit of a cuddle from behind from Cody Taylor in the breakdown. Perenara, quick hands. McKenzie goes out wide to Mark Talia, who has taken it well. Close to the touchline, keeps the ball alive. Perenara now shifting it to Tuipulotu. Already 27 minutes through this match. Perenara goes back again to Lomax, who was tackled by Cunning himself. Lawrence tried to get that strip of the ball now to Leah, close to the side of the breakdown, and Lawrence is there to make another one. Now Perenara, stolen by Henry Slade. Great work from him for the English on their own 22, and they will have to now clear the lines. Now, off to Will Stewart, just with that short run to try and get it ready for this next kick from the English. What has been proven is anytime they're inside of the All Blacks half, they have got potential of being able to score. Definitely out on that left-hand side. They seem to have a really good overlap happening. Gave up trying to watch the game on a different channel. I had the obstructing box mid-screen as super biased pommy commentators. Came back here to Hamish in the banter. Says, Gary, well, we do appreciate you being back. Gary, nicely kicked downfield from Mitchell. Goes to Mark Talia, straight through the gap. No one's stopping him at the moment, but now England scamper to try and stop the ABs on their counter-attack again. McKenzie goes off to Rico Ioane, breaks through one and almost dropped that ball. Yes, he did. And it's now going to be the scrum feed for England. Already at this time is weird, says Mr. Fantastic AJ. And this seems to be a lot of knock-ons. Is it raining? Says PS Paul Stewart. It is not, no. But it's very cold down in Dunedin. So you can't really feel your fingers, let alone other appendages, when you're down in Dunners. So I think that might be one of the reasons that we are seeing quite a few handling errors. And odds on an England triumph, says Katzenell. I mean, they were about $5 underdogs at the start of this game. But to be honest, the way that they started, maybe they would have dropped a little bit more. The All Blacks are ahead by 3. Looks like TJ Perenara just having a bit of a chat there with Damien McKenzie. Working out what their next plan is going to be. Game is so open, England need to calm it down, says Easy Ollie. So yeah, but will be cold, says Ingrid, and the roof is up. Who scored the second try for the All Blacks? Second try was scored by Adi Savia. Second of the match was scored by Maro Itoje for the English. Now, I should also mention there is another game that has taken place in only 2 hours' time, ladies and gentlemen. That will be the Wallabies taking on Wales. We are also going to be covering that one on the channel. How would you summarise the first 30 minutes? Well, that's the thing. It's been a really good game so far, to be honest. Like, it's just been back and forth. Both sides have had their great moments on attack. Both have had some strong defence along the way. It's just felt like a test match. So, like, in terms of if I had to summarise it, it's just a test match. It's just really good at the moment. I'm enjoying it. I've missed test match rugby. They do have a problem more consistent. D-Mac is okay, just average. I mean, he's got 1 or 2 try assists already throughout this game. Did you see his cross kick that he got to Sever Reese for the first try? Now, Alex Mitchell going to be feeding this ball in for the English. Looks like Ben Earl is going to try and run this one off the back, but Papali'i breaking off the side of the scrum to be able to make that early tackle. Hi, Hamish, says Manus, welcome in. Now, counter ruck from the All Blacks. That looks like it's going to be effective. Yes, it is. Papali'i has actually popped out with the ball for New Zealand. Now, Perenara and behind to Damien McKenzie. Flat ball to Perafeta, I should say. Now, about 35 metres out from the line. Summer Penny Fee now with the run. Looking for the counter ruck was Will Stewart. Has lost his feet. McKenzie and behind to Geordie Barrett. Stands out like a sore thumb. Nice run from Papali'i, who is eventually dragged down by Fiua Bosso. Look for the turnover. Didn't quite get it now. Barrett on the outside to Ioane. He decides against pass into Talia and tell you what, that's a big clean out from Geordie Barrett. He's come in like a pocket rocket. I don't know what that means because I think someone actually told me that's the name for a vibrator. But that's going to be the penalty to England on the 22. Just a rocket in general rather than one that goes in your pocket, I would say, is the best way of describing what Geordie Barrett flew in like. Flew in like a pocket rocket when you really think about it. It sounds a bit dodgy, doesn't it? Hamish, do you have a green box tie? I do not know. No, I don't. I have a few other coloured ties. I've got a few South African schoolboy rugby ties as well, but just not a Bok one. Now Henry Slade kicking this one towards the touchline from their own 22 there for England. They'll be about 45 metres out from the line now, but Maro Itoje beautifully done. That is a second turnover in the breakdown that he has managed to get for himself. As Regal's still on try celibacy, he is at the moment. And I'd say the game ends 20 points to 17. Just add a sticker that identifies as a green or red tie, says Mr. Fantastic AJ. Now Jamie George throwing this one in, nicely taken by Maro Itoje. Now hanging on to this one at the back is Jamie George as they look to get this rolling maul. Slowly marching forward here for the English. Alex Mitchell goes for the box kick again. And McKenzie runs onto it and takes it nicely for the ABs. Now Perenara goes across to Perafeta. They are inside of their own 22 and Geordie Barrett will look to kick this one as far downfield as he can. But this is an acre of space and a perfect opportunity for a counter-attack from this English side. George Furbank, tackled by Tui Palotu, rips him to the ground but manages to get his offload away to Smith. Now Slade looking for the kick in behind. Reese unable to block it. And Perafeta takes it inside of the All Blacks, 22. McKenzie has a good angle to work with, and that is a great kick from Damian McKenzie. I walked to a pub nearby to watch, and they were still closed, says Mikkel. Yeah, because I guess for you guys, it's early morning, isn't it? I'd like to think that they'd start opening up soon, though, definitely with South Africa versus Ireland just around the corner. The small one is the Springboks, says Stroke the Woke. It's good to see Test Rugby again. We've got New Zealand versus England, and after this match, we've got Australia versus Wales, and later tonight, it's the big one, Springboks versus Ireland. Don't forget, we've also got Argentina-France, though. That's going to be the last game of the day that we do cover on the channel. Never owned a tie, terrible attire. I'll be honest, ties don't make much sense to me. Like, because you know how, like, a belt is to hold your pants up, but a tie is not so much to hold your shirt up. Well, I guess it does a little bit, that little bit there, if you haven't done the top button. The more you know. When I was younger, I went to a mate's house, and his mother had one of those pocket rockets that was stuck to the wall in the shower. Wow. Is that Maro Itoje? No, it's the man from The Chase. I was about to say, is that Maro Itoje's dad? He kind of looks similar to Maro Itoje, to be honest, from that angle that they were showing. And France is playing in juveniles. Says Katzenel, don't forget Canada versus Scotland. Sadly, that game not being shown in New Zealand, though. So we won't be able to cover that one on the channel. But Jamie George with another line-out throw here for the English. A lot of them throughout this match. Cunningham himself and a little bit of an injury concern, but it looks like he is going to be all right to continue in this contest. Maro Itoje claiming the line-out, throwing it back to Mitchell. Now Smith with the short ball to Earl again. Been busy throughout this contest so far. Kick downfield from Alex Mitchell. McKenzie going up for it and takes it again under the high ball. Been looking sharp so far throughout this game, Damian McKenzie. Now Perenara goes off to Savia. Kicked in behind from Geordie Barrett off his left boot. Again trying to play the territory game, but an acre of space for Smith to be able to clear his lines. And look for the touchline. Doesn't quite get there, though. Nicely taken by Stephen Perofeta, who breaks through again. But Smith makes the follow-up tackle. Savia on the short guy. Short side, I should say, not the short guy. Now Perenara back to Ethan Agruda, behind to McKenzie. Flat ball goes to Barrett and he's through a gap. Gets the offload away to Rico, who now goes back to McKenzie, who's fighting hands at the moment with Ollie Lawrence. Now Lomax. Good build-up play here for the All Blacks. Once again, don't forget the multi-ABs versus Japan XVS tonight as well. It is. It's on at the same time as Australia versus Wales, so sadly we can only cover one of those. My family kicked me into the back room because I was yelling at the TV too loud. Hashtag timeout for me. I'm sure you're very nervous. At the stage, that's loose. And that's nicely cleaned up by Thurbank. And another big shot coming in from Ethan de Groot after Scott. Row, please tell who's player of the match. My prediction is... Oh, that was weird. Coverage cut out for half a second. Hopefully we are still back. Good morning from South Africa. Hope Tom Curry did not complain, says Jeff. But yeah, I mean, TJ Perenara, I believe, is who you have. See there, unless it's Dalton Pabali. But, you know, McKenzie so far for me throughout this first 35 minutes has shown exactly why he has been picked as that All Blacks fly half. He has looked very strong. I am just sad that this is already 35 minutes down in this contest. 63% for the All Blacks. The penalty did go the way of England, so Smith now kicks it towards the touchline. And hi, good morning from South Africa. Does the suit have a jacket? It does, but it's the same one as I normally have on. I hope Scotty has a really successful coaching career. He deserves it, says Vito Skux. Penalty going against the All Blacks in that breakdown. Now again, it is going to be Jamie George. Goes into Maro Itoje. Now back Alex Mitchell to Smith. So to Ollie Lawrence. England have a great opportunity to go short side, like I mentioned earlier on. That is knocked on from Tommy Freeman, his second of the day now. McKenzie goes across to Geordie Barrett. Rush defence there from Slade. Doesn't work out. Misses the tackle. And now Geordie Barrett has a lot of space to work with. Now Mark Talia, hands on the ball there. Offloads to TJ Perenara, who decides to run straight at George and Fiua Bosso as they drive him into the ground. We have a good day. I have to watch the game on my tablet. Have to borrow my husband's work laptop as my PC died, says Nov Mum there. Hopefully you are still enjoying the game on, I assume, Sky Sport Now or Sky Go. That would be. It's kicked up high from DJ Perenara. Now Smith looking to counter-attack from the halfway line. Little pop pass up there. almost through for George Furbank, who has been looking really strong at number 15 for the English as well. Alex Mitchell goes back across to Tom. Well, in fact, it's Sam Underhill there. Smith back across. Lawrence with the quick hands out wide field. Bosso tackled low by Cody Taylor. Counter-ruck there coming from Geordie Barrett. And he's managed to get the turnover for the All Blacks again. Petafeta goes to McKenzie. Going to pass it from inside of their 22 here. The All Blacks looking to run it up there. Look close to Ford. McKenzie gets the offload and they will go back for the forward pass against the All Blacks. A little bit risky trying to run it from their own 22, but they thought it was worth a crack. Savia forward pass to Damian McKenzie. Did you know Satutu could play for England in a year? I did. But now, you see there from Damian McKenzie decides that they want to try and run it, and then it was all good from Savia, but just the inside ball drifting forward in the end. As Flow Sports even has obscure Super Rugby games, and South African taking on England while living in a ruin is crazy. It was a motherboard, sadly, says Novma. But 3 minutes remaining in this first half. Currently the score still 10 points to 7. Looks like we're having a bit of a drinks break here for both sides. Maybe an injury stoppage for Maru Atoje by the looks of it. And AB's playing netball, typical Super Rugby, but going nowhere fast. Says AJ, and up the Southern Hemisphere boys, AB's Oz in the box for wins this weekend, bros from the South. Are you saying Argentina also join into the boys from the South winning, or are you saying instead that you would go with France? Because France have gone with a really young side in that later contest. We are going to be covering that one on the channel. 30,000 in attendance for Forsyth Barr, sold out for this matchup. And they will be at Eden Park next week, as it's been mentioned. Wait, who Australia are playing? Australia are playing Wales. And that is kicking off in 2 hours' time. And England need to carry on. We're getting murdered at the breakdown, says Easy Ollie. Could you imagine Artie Savia playing against his brother if Julian is eligible for Samoa, if Samoa played the All Blacks? It would be quite cool, though the lack of times that New Zealand seem to play Samoa might make it a bit tricky. Although I think they have got a game this year, don't they? Ben Earl breaking off the back, goes to Mitchell, now to Smith. Gets through one, but McKenzie manages to make the tackle. Now Ben Earl going across, tackle by Sama Penny now tried to get back up to his feet. A short ball from Finn Baxter. Over the ball, Artie Savia wanted the turnover. Referee says no. Smith goes in behind, rush defence there from New Zealand. Oh, nice, beautiful bit of footwork from George Furbank to kick that ball back inwards. Sever Reese makes the tackle. We're going back for a penalty. Hang on, he's had a call from the TMO. They're going back for a neck roll from the breakdown. So that answers the question whether or not we are playing under the new experimental laws or not. The TMO now has the ability of telling them straight away whether or not there was a penalty in breakdowns. AB's fans can't beat us, so they play the racism card, says Albert. Okay. And All Blacks tend to fullback, says Moss. And there as well, but now going to be kicking that one into touch. Sitting about. Oh, we're going to see it here. So Savia, then Finn Baxter. Yeah, he grabbed him by the ear. I'll be honest, it wasn't the worst penalty we've ever seen. Why the Aussies so hot at the TAB? Says Drink on the Moon. Well, they have got a lot of young talent coming through the ranks. Joe Schmidt picking the most debutants for the Australians since 44 years ago. Now thrown in by Cody Taylor. The one wasn't very contestable for the English. Geordie Barrett with the flat ball to Artie Savia. I'd love to be able to get themselves another try. I haven't paid attention to the rugby lately. What are some of the new game laws? So the TMO is now able to give you, as the referee, live decisions. So he can look at a breakdown and go, I saw a penalty here, so we want to go back. Oh, that's a TJ knee injury. Oh no, this is bad. Or is it? He's back up on his feet. That's bad for TJ Perenara. It looks like he's got a knee injury here. He's only just come back from a 2-year layoff of an ACL. That was a really awkward way that they fell onto him. I haven't paid attention. Oh no, I read that one. Good contest, this says Eric J. Yeah, really competitive one. TJ is not happy at the moment. I don't think a few of the All Blacks are too happy with it either, the way that they counted there. Yeah, Scott Barrett cleaned out from Who was that? Who actually got that clean out? I think it might have been one of the replacements. I think it was... Who was that? Who made that tackle? I'm looking through at the names. Was it Sam Underhill, maybe? And TJ is injured, oh no. The new TMO seems good, says Mark. I mean, it is until what we saw happen between South Africa and Wales, which was it added 15 minutes onto the game. It was a 2-hour contest rather than around an hour 45. So if you get a TMO who doesn't look at every single breakdown and doesn't, overrule the referee too much, it is good. But if you get one like that Wales versus South Africa warm-up game where TMO loved the sound of his own voice and wanted to be involved in every second of the game. I'm just going to see it here. Oh, it's a really awkward way that one has gone down. Noah Hotham brought in as cover incoming. Says Vito Scucks and no TMO is good. Says Choke the Woke. Now it is going to be this scrum feed, I believe, here for... I think it is for New Zealand. In this case, Gloria Vale watches your live. Well, welcome in. Hope you are doing well. Now, 15 seconds left. Yep, TJ has got the scrum feed for the All Blacks. Will they look to put this ball into touch, or will they look for one last attack before the end of the first half? I think whether they win a penalty here might determine that. They have not. So now Geordie Barrett going back across to Rieko Ioane. Manages to step through one. The All Blacks inside of the English half. Sevu Reece with a pick and go. Goes off to Sama Penny now. Reece again looking to use this one quickly. McKenzie goes to Taylor. Rush defence from the youngster Finn Baxter. They are just inside of the English half at the moment. Perenara goes back across to Sama Penny now. Makes one more meter. Reece with the pick and go. Shut down by Baxter. Gets his offload away to TJ Perenara. Barrett wrestled down by Lawrence, showing off his strength. Over the top. Loose ball from Perenara, but it finds Cody Taylor. Tried to go through. They're inside of their own half at the moment. The All Blacks, they're up to 8 phases. Here comes Petafeta wide. Cut out pass to Sevu Reece. Mitchell getting wrong-footed, but eventually drags him down. The All Blacks losing 20 metres so far from this attack. Here comes Scott Barrett at the line. Perenara going across to McKenzie now. In behind Petafeta with the pass to Cody Taylor. Good hands from him. Goes out to Mark Talia, who will cut on the inside. Needs his offload, and he got it to Taylor, who then gets it away to Barrett, but he's knocked it on, I thought, although it looks like it's going to be play on. Now the TMO, of course, with the new laws, can check that and tell the referee if there was a knock on. Maro Itoje almost getting the turnover once more. Short ball from McKenzie to Scott Barrett. Lawrence is on the ball uncontested, and he will win the penalty for England right at the end of the first half. Perenara was injured. A player of the match was injured, although he is still out on the field, I should mention. He hasn't gone from the field as a halftime, not quite, but it could go into halftime 10 points to 10 if Marcus Smith decides that he does want to line up this 3 points. That's exactly what England will do, and 10 points to 10. It's going to be an epic one there. Oh man, they could be going to the sheds 10-all, and AB's playing pass and pray rugby. Not impressed with their forwards. Cheers, AJ. And England defence pushing the All Blacks back. There's Mark Humphreys. And yeah, the All Blacks are trying quite a few cut-out passes as well, which is, of course, losing them a little bit of depth, losing them a bit of ground, and then England making their tackles, which has caused New Zealand to go just that little bit further back. They should show AB's game free to air, so we don't have to waste our money on Sky now, says Vito Scucks. I mean, that's the thing. In the old days, that used to be a thing. You used to get free to air rugby when it was the international matches. I'm not liking these camera angles. Sky's off today, eh? There's Mr. All-In, Marcus Smith now lining up the kick. And this time he's got it over. So 10-all going into half-time. We have to wait and see what the second half holds. Joe Marler going off early. He has not returned to the field after his injury, which has meant that Finn Baxter, the young 22-year-old, has been on the field for the rest of the game. Why is this game being referred to as a friendly international? I have no idea, to be honest. I think it's just what they normally call it, but it is anything but friendly out there on the field at the moment. It seems most of this game has been played in the All Blacks half. Says Eric J. Rugby is free to wear in Ireland. Says Easy Ollie there as well. But anyone who is new to the channel, of course, be sure to hit that subscribe button. We are on the road to 50,000 subscribers. Let's see if we can get to 48,500 by halftime. We are only 118 away. So if you are new, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Just an analysis. 9 too slow to the ruck. 10 missed goal kicking, says Moss. And there as well, it's a test match, says Neville. It certainly is. And not sure how to look at this. Impressed with England or disappointed with the ABs? I think you could go a little bit of both ways. There have been times throughout this first half that the All Blacks have been strong. You know, we've seen certain players stepping up for them throughout this first 40 minutes. England, though, I think that something that has been extremely underrated is that rush defence, because it has shut down the All Blacks backline. And when you've got a side like the All Blacks who want to run that ball with any opportunity that they can get, and then you've got England who are getting up there, shutting it down, you lose a lot of territory along the way. How many games does the ABs have? So in just this little series, they have got 2 against the English, and then they have got a game up against the Fijians that will be taking place in 14 days' time. That is going to be happening in the USA. For England, this is actually their last series, or I guess you could say the last games that they are going to be playing. They haven't got a game after the next game up against New Zealand, which is happening at Eden Park next week at 7:05. So it's a little bit sad that England don't get an extra game. And then we've got a new member on the channel, Grace Sapili. Thank you very much for hitting that membership button. Who are we impressed by in the All Blacks and unimpressed by? I mean, Peter Feta, I think, has done very well at the back. Overall, though, for New Zealand, it does seem like we are kicking the ball downfield and then not having someone chase. Like that one, for instance, where TJ kicked it away, Mark Talia jogged after it, few more phases for the English, and they end up scoring the try after some good attacking play. Our centre has been a man that's missing for a long time. Time for a change. Says Stuart Moore. Is Argentina and France the last game you're streaming? It certainly is. So after this one, we have got Australia versus Wales, followed then by South Africa versus Ireland, and then followed by that game between France and Argentina. New to the channel, loving it. Doing a great job, says Lisa. Thank you very much. Greatly appreciated you being here for this contest. Yes, free-to-air rugby was great back in the day. Keith Quinn was doing the commentary, and ABs need to get their head in the game, says Simran there. What's going on with you, Hamish? You are choppy as, says Fion. And there as well. I mean, it could be Wi-Fi. I think overall, in terms of the bar that I've got at the moment, it does say that it's all right. So hopefully it does continue being that way throughout the live stream. But every once in a while, the Wi-Fi might be cutting out just a little bit. But hopefully it does stay on. And come on, let's go and hit that subscribe button. Scott Robertson probably didn't think it's going to be 10-10 at halftime. You know what? I honestly think that he may have. Because he is one of those players, or one of those people in particular, who throughout this whole week has not underestimated what England can do. So, you know, it's all well and good thinking that you're going to win a game by a comfortable margin, but at the same time, you do still have to make sure you are getting it right. And England have got it right throughout this game. They have been able to stay strong. They've had a few mistakes along the way as well, but that's the same with the All Blacks. So, you know, this won't be unheard of in terms of what they would have expected for going into halftime. I think I can make money off Wales, says Drink on the Moon. TJ kicks too deep and clearing too slow, says Hensel. And Test Match Rugby, love it, says Catherine. And the chat as well. And D-Mac, very good under those high balls. So good to be back here, Hamish, says Mark. And this is what happens when you turn the ABs All Blacks into the Crusaders, says Dan's Pans. I mean, tuning them into the Crusaders isn't exactly a bad thing, though, when you look at the Crusaders' record. But, you know, it's going to take time. At the end of the day, like, this is the first game for the All Blacks. And no All Blacks coach has ever lost their first contest when they do take the helm. Jen Ty Hamish, respect, says Eric J. And great try, Severus. And we have got Mikael Lowe has become a channel member as well. Thank you very much. AB6 needs to get more into the game too, unseen for me. I agree. I think Summer Penny Finau hasn't really been everywhere that he should be. I think that Papa Lee's also at times been just a little bit quiet compared to Sam Underhill for England, who we have seen pretty much in everything that has been going on. They are just showing that first try. It was a cross kick from Damien McKenzie that led to the ball going out wide for Sevu Reece. Then England were able to fire back with a try of Maro Itoje. And then after that, we saw the try for the All Blacks, that being for Adi Savia. Out wide, listening in Canada, says Richard. When do the European All Blacks play? I have no idea. We've got Māori All Blacks versus Japan XV later on tonight. There's another game that is involving a New Zealand side. Should have gone with the Blues winning style, says Dan Pans. And also we got that same for Paddy, not seen enough for me, says Hensel. And I'd like to see Anton going to 13. Yeah, might be a good idea in the second half. I mean, Peter Fedor, I think, has done very well at 15, which is great to see, just because he was one of those players that a lot of people were doubting when they saw that he was in the starting lineup, rather than having Bowden Barrett. Bro, I love your video. You're so entertaining. You'll still be up after Argentina and France. Did you drink coffee? Because coffee can make up till morning. Says Hawaiian Boy. So we won't be drinking any coffee throughout any of the live streams, but we got a big bottle of water, so that should keep us going for a long time. But Damien and Stephen being good. Says Henzo and Furbank is also looking very good. Yeah, for the English, Furbank has impressed me in terms of their backline. Also that physicality that Lawrence has brought. He managed to win that last turnover. And England show up. All the Kiwi boys a tad slow at the breakdown. Scrum not tight. Says Warren. Yeah, it's been a good half. Like, there have been mistakes that both sides have made. But overall, I think that it's been solid enough from both of these sides. And of course, they will have the more in-depth analysis about what they could have done differently throughout that first half. But one thing's for sure, it was entertaining between the two teams. Back and forth rugby. The All Blacks having a bit more of the possession. Now, Damien McKenzie has missed both of his conversions. Marcus Smith has got one missed kick so far in this game. What changed for the second half, mate? Who you bringing on, says Henzel. It's a good question. For me, I think that, Anton Lienert-Brown might be a good option for New Zealand at some point. Also, I know that it's a bit early, but I wouldn't mind seeing Luke Jacobson make his way on maybe after another 10 minutes or so for Sama Penny-Finau, just to get a bit more physicality going in that loose ball trio and just get a bit more in the breakdowns, because England have been winning quite a few of the breakdowns and had a few good opportunities to try and get that ball out from an All Blacks ruck. For England, they've already made that change of Baxter. I think Tom Curry is one that a lot of people are waiting to see make his way onto the field. But I don't think this backline will be getting changed anytime soon. I think that all of the men on the field have done very well for England throughout their backline. Maybe Christie for Perenara, if that knee is playing up a little bit as well, could be another option. And England undefeated under the Slaver government. And TJ done okay, but no X Factor for me, says Drink on the Moon. And like someone said a little bit earlier on, he's just been kicking it a little bit too far with his box kicks. That's the big difference. England have at least had a chance to contest for their box kicks, even though Damien McKenzie has been catching a majority of them. They've still had a 50-50 shot. Whereas for the All Blacks, anytime it's kicked down deep, Marcus Smith is just running it back, and they're losing that ground that they could have stopped anyway. Jacobson has been playing 8, not 6. Incorrect. He's been playing 7, as Wallace Satiti has been playing number 8, but he can offer both 7 and 6, like you said, and 8, I should say. So, yeah, there's a chance that he will possibly go on for Simon Penny-Finau. I don't see them taking Savia off early in this game, but I could see them maybe giving Jacobson a bit more of a chance. Second half, we put the Labour Party in the ground. We haven't finished yet, says Shane. And also we have there, can't see England holding on in the second half. Kiwi renowned for gear shift. Yeah, although England in their last game up against the Japanese, they did extremely well in the second 40 minutes. In the end, the score was 52 points to 17. So, England have still got a gas tank on them, and they have still got time to be able to get themselves the possibility of another try. Now, anyone wondering about the women's rugby, I should mention there is also Fiji versus Australia that is currently taking place. And currently in that contest, it is a bit one-sided, Australia winning at 24 points to the 5. But at halftime in the game between England and Japan, it was 26 points to 3. They then went on and got the same amount of points in that second half, scoring quite a few nice tries with Sam Underhill, Harry Randall, Ben Earl, and also Alex Mitchell. I think that was all of them that did score in the second half. And TMO saved a try, says Dave there. And TJ should be in the squad, but not starting. Love him, but not up to speed here. Says Henzo, and only one missing in the game is Satutu. Says WNNTA. So would that be rather than Adi Savia, though, in this game? Or would you have moved Savia to 7, possibly? So you stream Australia, Wales, South Africa, Ireland, and France versus Argentina. That is correct. Yep. We are doing all 3 of those games on the channel. Stole the England try, says Dave. I hope Razor has given them a good talking to during the break. Any lads and lasses from England got bars to elaborate on the Kiwi lads? Says Blues Nate, totally agreed with the box kicks, but that's easily reflected or rectified in the second half, says Reflecting Trees. But anyone who is new to the channel, like I mentioned, be sure to hit that subscribe button. We were on the road to 48,500 by the end of halftime. We are currently sitting a total of 92 away. So if you haven't already and you are watching this and you have the ability to, be sure to hit that subscribe button. We're going to be back for 3 more international games. We're also here for videos throughout the week announcing the sides. We're going to have a review of this game that does come out on the channel as well just afterwards. All Blacks have the ref in the pocket, says Dave in there as well. I mean, it's actually the TMO that did make that decision, not the referee. He was just overruled by the TMO in the match. Too much breakdancing for Razor, says Wanta there. And also just tuned in, forgot about you doing this test, says Kevin. And also we have got England will come out strong, I think, says Hensel. And yeah, they'll well and truly still feel like they are in with a shot. And they should, because they are sitting 10 points to 10. The last time these two sides played in Dunedin, they were only split by a total of 1 point. England have actually is actually doing fantastic. Oh yeah, they've looked thoroughly impressive. Their physicality throughout this game, I think, has been phenomenal. And you could see that right from the final or the first whistle. They were just in it to try and cause disruption and try and, you know, be strong and stop the All Blacks from feeling safe about going around the side of the breakdown. Morning, Hamish, go England. Well, I have to next door, guys. And one day is a long time in politics. And ask your grandpa Krampus. And also ABs, I'll step it right up on the 60-minute mark. All Blacks by 17 points. Says Pete D. Now, my original prediction for this game, I believe, was 25 points to 19. New Zealand always pay the ref, says Dave. I'm sure they do. But now, second half, very close. But the TMO, TMO style England try. So that's different ref. That's not the main ref. The main ref is Amashakali, isn't it? And let's go England, says Aaron. Yeah, like, they're in this contest, which is great. Savia 7, Hoskins 8, says Dan Pans, who watches the TMO. They have a few guys in there. TMO a cheat. Okay, I can see how this is going to go, Dave. But second half around the corner. England, they will say, though, they had opportunities outside of that one decision that you feel they were shafted by to be able to get back into this contest. And they still have got a massive chance of winning. We cannot underestimate the second half. We will look at the odds quickly, ladies and gentlemen, for how it is sitting. And at the moment, the way that it sits, New Zealand, they are still favourites. But at the start of this game, they were a lot more of a favourite than they currently are right now. Currently, New Zealand versus England. England are $3.30 underdogs in this contest. Do you show the rugby? We do not know. We just talk about it because, or else we get copyright struck. So that is why we do not show it. I'm reading for the ABs, but England look good. And Hoskins not international for me, says Hensel, and New Zealand are losing the contact area. Says Robin, yeah, they just need that loose forward trio. Like I mentioned, Papali'i, we've seen him a little bit. And, you know, there's still plenty of time for him to fire up to that next level, but he needs to have a bit more of a Sam Underhill type of performance where he's getting right in there. He's causing problems. Man, people complaining about referees is sad. Can't we just enjoy the game, says HO? Yeah, we almost went 40 minutes without someone blaming the referee for a 10-all draw at halftime. Almost 50k, boss is on to something, tie and shorts. Knowledge commentary on high alert, says Warren. And there as well. And we have got the apologies, Kiwi Lad, says Moss, and new All Blacks coach never lost a first. What will Scott Robinson do if he is the new coach who loses the first test, says Morne Lagrange. Keep coaching. It's the first game. Oh, there we go. Finley Christie is now onto the field for the All Blacks, ladies and gentlemen. The early change has been made, and that is due to that injury, maybe of the knee of TJ Perenara, plus a different kicking orientated, little bit shorter in the kicks, I think, is what they want to see here for the All Blacks. The boys are back on the pitch. They certainly are. Make the series more interesting. Good work from both sides. Says Blues M. Where was that injury? Where was that energy when England got the bias against Fiji in the World Cup? Says Chuck T. And Barrett made more turnovers than the entire forward pack, says Peter Wild. But now second 40 minutes. How's it from GQ? Welcome in. Gutted for TJ, says Jimmy the Saint. It is kicked off by England. And we are back underway now for the second half. Nicely taken by Geordie Barrett just outside of the All Blacks 22. Christie onto the field. Goes off to Samapeni Fee now. Yeah, deciding to make that change very early for the All Blacks. And Finley Christie now will go for the kick. That one has gone high. Rico chasing after it. Won't get to it in time, though, and it opens up a massive amount of space for Fiua Bosso. I think Christie will make the difference. Says drink on the moon. Now cutting himself. Oh, he's put the ball the wrong way there. The All Blacks just a little bit too slow in the breakdown, but there was a knock on from England. TJ got cleaned out and cried. Says Crumpus, and New Zealand playing all the rugby. England hanging on, says Rob. Yeah, although New Zealand cannot get too complacent, though, because when England have had the chance to attack, they have looked strong. We saw that with that Maro Itoje try. We saw that when they got within inches of scoring again. Just 21 years of age for Chandler Cunningham South. He's had 6 test caps and 1 try. For that man, got a bright future in that England number 6 jersey. But now scrum feed for Finlay Christie and the All Blacks. They will be 32 metres out from their line. Last time England beat New Zealand in New Zealand was in 2003, 13 points to 15. And the last time that they played in Dunedin was 2014, and the score was split by 1 point in the end. That one's gone down. Going to have another reset here at scrum time. Solid there, Mr. Chandler, says Blues Note. Yeah, next game that we are covering on the channel is kicking off in only an hour and a half, ladies and gents. That is Australia versus Wales. We will be doing that one alongside South Africa versus Ireland, and also the match that is taking place a bit later on between Argentina and the French. Hopefully TJ Peninata is okay. I'm enjoying when he is leading the haka. You know your 9 depth is struggling when your choice, or first choice is a veteran, second choice from years ago. Says Vez Fundes. Yeah, although, that's the thing. They have got the injury of Cam Roygaard. Roygaard, I believe, was going to be that starting 9 if it wasn't for his injury. But when that injury occurred, that is actually when we saw TJ get that opportunity for the Hurricanes. And throughout the season for Super Rugby, he's actually been very strong. He scored about 8 tries, had a lot of try assists. That is a big push from the All Blacks. But England managed to get themselves the penalty for the All Blacks wheeling that scrum. Someone's head was coming out the side, says Amashikali, and England now will have another opportunity to take the lead. And this will be the second time in this match, I believe, that England would be leading in this contest. And I'm half but 100% All Blacks. And the injury, that after having to come back from a major Achilles heel injury. No wonder he was so frustrated. I really feel for him. Is Brody Retallick playing? He is not, no. But I'm sure he will be watching this game. This is not good. AB's got to watch those penalties, and TMO have too much power killing the game, says Tom. And sending missing vibes to England. And cheers for the host for giving up his time to go live for us. Cheer, butter, says Wanta. And there as well. But anyone who is new to the channel, of course, be sure to hit that subscribe button. We are going to be covering England versus New Zealand next week on the channel as well. But Marcus Smith here, 34 metres out for a great chance for England to take the lead early in the second half. I enjoy that the Southern Hemisphere fans support their own Southern Hemisphere comrades. Says bystander, I think Wales are way overpriced, but so I'm lazy 10. Won't break the bank. That one from Smith has missed. So that is now 2 missed kicks for Smith, 2 missed kicks for McKenzie, and really silly mistakes. It sounds like a stinker. In what regard? In terms of the All Blacks' performance? Because, they haven't been that bad. I feel like a lot of people are either over-criticising New Zealand or underestimating England in this game. These two sides have had some great competitive battles over the years. They drew their last game, 25-25. The game prior to that, England actually beat New Zealand 19 points to 6. The last time I was here at the Rugby World Cup, go All Blacks, the NZR Plus, let you stream live for free. I don't believe so. I don't think they have got the streaming option. But now Finlay Christie goes off to Tyrell Lomax. A low tackle made by Finn Baxter and Itoje. Does he get the turnover? Yes, he does. Again, brilliant work from Maro Itoje and Will Stewart. Now they move into the 22 here for the English. Now Mitchell goes across there, flat ball to Ben Earl. Mitchell again goes back to Furbank. He backs himself to go through, but 10 metres out from the line, round the side of the breakdown again. Earl has another carry, and New Zealand win the turnover penalty. I think it was Savia, yes it was, who managed to get in over the ball. Tighter dominant scrums getting penalised because the ref is incompetent, says Rob. Great commentary boss, says Mr. G. It's on, but no pitches. Just the Kiwi talking about the game, says Sarafi in there as well. Now, kicking this one towards the touchline here for Jordie Barrett. And TJ, they playing it too safe. Big step backward, or big backward step. Fortune favours the brave. So here's Richard. And there's well, but it's a fantastic turnover. Maro Itoje has had an excellent performance throughout this contest. And that's about his third or fourth turnover so far. Now, and behind Damien McKenzie will clear the All Blacks lines. Goes away to Emmanuel Waboso. Now has got the option on the inside. Goes to Slade, who looked like he was struggling to keep his feet underneath him there. Severus looking for the turnover. Can't get it. 40 metres out from the line here. England. Earl tackled by Barrett. And Papali. Now Mitchell almost went through the gap. Rico stopped him. Short hands. Earl goes to George Martin. But in every situation at the moment, there is something involving Ben Earl. Nice run from Cunningham himself. Clean out from Finn Baxter is strong. There's Earl again in the breakdown. Mitchell off to Cunningham himself. He's proven a handful, the young 21-year-old. Smith, short ball to Underhill. Tackled by Tui Pelotu. The All Blacks under pressure. They have made 9 tackles in a row here for the phases. From the English, nice run from Tommy Freeman. He just can't quite reach out 2 metres from the line. Now for the English, Itoje without his headgear goes to within 1. Cunningham himself again gets closer. The All Blacks discipline has to be on point here. Ball is available here for the English. Round the side, Sam Underhill with a pick and go. Savia looking for the turnover, cannot get it. Now Mitchell and Marcus Smith, short ball to Ben Earl. Gets back up, goes again, and Tui Pelotu is able to drag him down. They have got numbers here. Wide cutout pass. Emmanuel Waboso out on the wing, scores the try for England. And England is finding a lot of space in this All Blacks line. That was never this easy. Says Angarat, you're onto it by standard. Let's support the Kiwi lads, brilliant. And Marcus's goal kicking is shocking here. Both kickers off the tee haven't been the best in this game, but now another opportunity for Marcus Smith after England have managed to score themselves another try here in this match. But Mitchell, you know what, MVPs at the moment have to be Maro Itoje and Ben Earl, the way that they have been everywhere for the side. Then Smith had the wide cutout pass. All that Fiwa Busso had to do was get that one over. They need to check that try. Ben Earl looked like he was tackled. Says Grant, I did say at the time when he got up and went again while being tackled by Patrick Tui Pelotu, but I think that has been cleared and it is going to be all right. That was the teacher from my school in the background there. George used to like her. Right, here we go. We got a member on the channel, Peter Andre Skurman. Hopefully I've said that correctly, but thank you very much for hitting that membership button. Greatly appreciated. You now have access to those exclusive emojis as well as a whole heap of special little things. You get that little badge next to your name as well. That bloody Ben Earl started it, continued it again and again. Says Peter Wild. And England are just applying constant pressure, says Mark Tuangafasi for Ethan de Groot, who has the ball. Marcus Smith on his kicking tee at the moment as England were able to score themselves the try. But this one is important. He hasn't had the best kicking day so far, Marcus Smith. And unfortunately for him, that is going to continue. Another missed kick for Smith makes the score 15 points to 10. Southern rugby sucks. Says Lewis, you're talking about Dunedin? It's a bit cold, but it's been a pretty decent showing from both the sides so far. AB's making puzzling calls, not playing smart for me, says Denzel and Marcus Lebok are going to cost them bad goal kicking. Why is Marcus Smith still kicking? Well, that's the thing. They've got Slade who can go off the kicking tee. Ethan de Groot is off, and Ofa Tuangafasi has made his way onto the park. But England, they were underdogs at half-time. They are now $2 underdogs, so they are still considered as the side that could lose this game, but not as much as they were. They need to bring on Bodie. There's CK Gaming. Another great run from Ben Earl. Where is that man not in this game? How many times have we already said his name as well? Now Alex Mitchell rolling this one back. Going to be kicked high now. And nicely taken by Jordie Barrett. Offloads to keep the ball alive. Good hands from Cody Taylor. Now goes Tuangafasi. Cross to Tui Pelotu. The two Blues team mates linking up. Tackled on the halfway line. The kicking game from both sides surprisingly were bad tonight. Says Risa there. Just turn my back and England leads. What happened? A try for Fiwa Bosso out wide of a nice pass from Marcus Smith. Now it looks like Christie will be going for the kick again here. AB's forwards not up to standard. Yeah, they've struggled in this game. And, Savi has been all right. I think Papa Lee, he's made a few tackles, but we haven't really seen him in the breakdowns. That's great work from Sevu Reese, or is it? No, he wasn't quite able to get the turnover. Yes, he does in the end, sorry. Managed to take it back. Now Savia goes across. Damien McKenzie with the pass out wide to Mark Talia. Got a bit of space to work with, but another great tackle made by Fiwa Bosso. And it's going to be an English line out now. Jordan Way asking the question to the TMO whether or not there might have been a knock on there. Foster best coach says Lewis Smith. And we have got there. New Zealand is not that good in first test. And like you said, it is their first match together as a side since that Rugby World Cup. They didn't have a warm-up game like England, who maybe got a little bit of their rust out of the way last week. So Tutu would have made a difference, says Delamain. I mean, New Zealand have had to defend a little bit throughout this game, which we probably wouldn't have seen Tutu too much. On attack, maybe, but defensively, you go with Savi and Papali'i every day of the week. But yeah, just the touch from Henry Slade, which I believe does actually mean this will be a line out for New Zealand, which is correct. It is dull to underestimate the English, or anyone for that matter. And it still says half-time, does it? For me, it's got 52 minutes on the board, but New Zealand have got themselves the line out now. Cody Taylor ready to throw this one in, and Cutting himself has actually been taken off the field. That is a loose line out from New Zealand, claimed by Dan Cole, who made his way on for Stewart. I love my country to not believe, says Doctor. Now, a little bit of a counter ruck coming from the All Blacks, but it was the line out of Taylor that didn't look too flash. AB's needed a pre-warm-up game before this one, says Laurie. Now, kick downfield from Alex Mitchell. Does get the ball in the touch. And Caleb do a refresh. Says Fred there. And also we've got there, Razor just realised this isn't club rugby. The top 4 to 6 teams in the world can take down anyone on their day. Test rugby's never been more competitive. I agree. Here comes Bowden Barrett out onto the field. That is going to be for Stephen Petafeta, who I feel a little bit for, because at the end of the day, he hasn't had a bad performance, yet he only gets 51 minutes in this game. They've obviously decided that that is the change in the backline that they require. Now Savia goes across to Finley Christie. Mark Talia running it flat. Don't know if we've seen enough from him at times throughout this game. I think he's had some really good runs, but in terms of just getting in amongst it, the pick and goes that we would normally see from Mark Talia for the Blues, we haven't really seen. But that could also be down to the fact that the forwards have been a little bit behind. There goes Maro Itoje in the breakdown, almost able to get the turnover once more. Here comes Rico Ioane. I wonder if he was the choice at 13 that the All Blacks should have gone with. Fletcher Knoll now running it up forward. Finley Christie, little chip behind from Damien McKenzie, waits for Barrett to chase it. That being Scott, the slowest of the Barrett boys in England, now back in possession. They let Joe Schmidt go and hired a breakdancer, says Niall. I don't know why the English are celebrating so far. This is the first game of the year and England's 7th, says Smoking RSA every day. And yeah, it just shows that sometimes, you can be a little bit rusty when you're out there on the field. But that is to not at all discredit what England have done throughout this game. They have been the more physical side. That's actually going to be the penalty going against Tom Curry. He lost his footing, flopped over the top of the breakdown. About time in the 22. And also not much opening running in this game. Just phase after phase up the middle, says James. Will all the English tackles in the first half start to show in the last 15 minutes? Maybe a little bit, but, they're a fit side, England. They've shown that throughout their Six Nations campaign, having some close games going down to the wire and still managing to hang on. Got to remember, this is an English side that beat the Irish only, a wee while ago. When was that? Was that this year or last year? I think it was this year, wasn't it? Other teams are rusty. South Africa are rusty. Rico has been average all year. I'd make a big difference on the wing. Says like a man NZ. But yeah, it does make you wonder whether or not if they had gone with Proctor, who was an informed 13, or they had gone with Leonard Brown, who was an informed 13, whether that would have helped the ABs. I got to say, the AB side does not look very enthusiastic. There is no excitement or energy, says James. Now Damien McKenzie lining up another kick here for the All Blacks. Only 26 minutes remaining. and hasn't been able to get one over yet, Damian McKenzie, but this one looks a lot better for him. Straight through the middle of the posts, and that will now make the score 10, or in fact, no, 13 to 15. Richie Mo'unga watching on for this game alongside Shannon Frizzell. McKenzie does strike, and that's something, of course, that could come down to the wire is if this game is only split by a couple points, how much impact will the missed kicks from Marcus Smith and Damian McKenzie have in this game? How long have the ABs been training together for this match? I think since the end of Super Rugby Pacific, so I'd say 2 weeks, I think is how long they have had. And the next game to score will be 54 New Zealand, England 10, says Smoke and RSA every day. Summer Penny Finau hitting the ball up again now. Looks like Finley Christie will go high again. Maro Itoje almost able to get that charge down. Slap back by Talia into the hands of Savia. Now Summer Penny Finau. Rush defence from England though. Shuts McKenzie down, or does it? He manages to break through 2 tackles that were in front of him. Now having to release it here. Score predictions comment now says Lewis Smith. My original prediction for this game was 25-19, I believe, which unfortunately cannot happen now because of England scoring a few more tries. Anyone else losing stream video quality? Yeah, mine is a little bit. I think it's got the little 1 bar up on the top, so hopefully it doesn't cut out too much more, and it does come back relatively soon. Damian McKenzie now going for the box kick once more. Marcus Smith, good shot coming in from Sevu Reece. Now back in possession now, England. Alex Mitchell going across there to Theo Dan. Now Sama Penifina almost had that turnover, but wasn't able to quite get it. Now downfield, Bowden Barrett takes it near the halfway line and now goes across to Damian McKenzie. Tries to run through. There's no gap there. He's smashed by Ollie Lawrence. And that's the penalty going the way of New Zealand. Once again, flopping through the breakdown. ABs can't be 97%. Surely that's insane, says Cole. And instead of practicing looking scary in the haka, they should bring it out onto the field, says Richard. And yes, Hamish is very grainy. Time for an upgrade to LAN cable or not wireless. Well, we actually recently moved the setup to a different room in the house. So ever since that, I think I've had not a single live stream that hasn't glitched out. So that's not ideal with the new move, but hopefully we'll be able to reset the modem next in between the 2 games, and hopefully it will work before Australia versus Wales. But this looks like McKenzie. The big shot from Lawrence. This is very similar to Maro Itoje in the way that he just gets in there. McKenzie's got a bloodied nose. 23-18. Now getting ready to throw this one in here for Cody Taylor. 6 lineouts throws have been 1-1 loss so far, and that is to Maro Itoje again. He's the man of the match at the moment if the English are able to get themselves the victory. It's that from New Zealand Herald in 2023. And predictions for Australia versus Wales, says Dalmain, and I'm in England and the reception is fine. Check your band strength, says the Finwal. And there, but yeah, it's ever since we moved the setup that we're having a lot of technical difficulties, unfortunately. So hopefully next game we will be able to fix them, or we might just have to buy a whole heap of data to be able to do the games. Underhill's so good in the Prem final. And we've been doing it for over 100 years, says Drink on the Moon. Australia by 9, says Lewis Smith. And England to win, says Dallin. And there as well. And Itoje does love a game with the All Blacks, says Grant. Yeah, he seems to step up in those ones. Connect your computer directly to the back of the modem using a LAN cable. I cannot because of how far away the modem is. So that is sadly not an option at the moment. Not one that we can do in just the next 5 seconds. Sound is grand. Just can't see your pretty face that well, Hamish, says Cole. But now Tupavai will make his way onto the field. Oh, okay. So Tupavai is on for Samapeni Fee now. And they have actually decided to put Scott Barrett at 6. Something that they thought they wouldn't have been doing. Or a lot of people thought that they wouldn't try for the All Blacks. But it's going to be the case. He's going to be blindside with Tupavai coming in more than likely as the number 5. Now still 22 minutes remaining in this matchup between the two sides, ladies and gentlemen. This one going to be a thriller, going down to the wire, but another line-out throw here for Theo Dan to try and get it accurate. Have I drunk too much? You blurry? We are blurry, yeah. Unfortunately, the Wi-Fi has decided that it does not like me. Now, England in position 30 metres out from the line. Theo Dan. That breakdown to protect the ball for the English. Now in behind. Oh, that's a big shot on Jordie Barrett. Ben Earl complaining that he didn't mean to, but he's caught Barrett high. He is not happy about it either, Ben Earl. This looked quite bad. You still sound better glitchy than this commentary on Sky. This is not good for my heart and circumstances, right at the top of the comments, says Salah. And there as well, but that is going to be the penalty going the way of the All Blacks. Now, putting the ball into touch for Jordie Barrett. So unfortunately, just a bit of a miscommunication there for the English. Yeah, because Ben Earl was in front of the man with the ball, that is why it is considered obstruction rather than Jordie Barrett tackling a man off the ball. Hopefully that makes sense. Now getting ready for the liner. Oh, hang on. Cody Taylor tried to take that one while the referee was still explaining what the English had done wrong, how much time left. Says Arthur, there is still another 21 minutes left in this contest. So plenty of time for either of these sides to be able to get themselves a win. Nicely claimed by Tupavai. Now Christie goes across to Jordie Barrett. Rieko Ioane now runs it up to the halfway line. He just needs a line break, Ioane. I don't think he's got one so far throughout this game. Matoje again trying to get into the breakdown. Talia breaks through 2 tackles. Lawrence manages to stop him and trying to hold him up for the maul. Christie again, Doi Balotu, McKenzie with the pass over the top. Tuati Savi, he's got 2 Barretts on the outside. Jordie is the one on the wing. And goes to Scott Barrett. Off at doing a fussy again. Now Christie back on the halfway line. McKenzie goes to Tupavai. Now McKenzie back in the pocket will go for the kick. Nicely taken by Marcus Smith. Oh, big shot coming in. Barrett in the breakdown looked like Papa Lee slightly stuck underneath some legs of the English players. 1 minute before the All Blacks pick it up. Good time. Says Drink on the Moon. And New Zealand should be number 2 in the world. They made the World Cup final. Come on the All Blacks. And Lawrence is a killer in defence. He is. He's a solid individual at number 12 and just doesn't really let up throughout the whole 80 minutes. And they're looking for the ball and they have got the penalty now. England entry through the side of the breakdown for Cody Taylor. Is it wrong to be having a beer at 9:30 in the morning? I don't think so. Definitely not on a day that the Springboks are playing. I feel like you can slightly get away with it. Now Marcus Smith be kicking this one towards the touchline. Change the score, bro. Says Shane, it's 13 points to 15 though. So it can't change. That's the score. And Kamana Toje says Eunice and Cody should come off. Says FNL, and they have got to suffer more as the man who can replace him. Looks like Luke Jacobson. He is making his way onto this field for Dalton Papali. No, it's for Tui Pelotu. So they're going to have another reshuffle here for the All Blacks. You scream funny, boss. It is. Sadly, the Wi-Fi is playing up, but like from here, I can't actually do anything about it. There's no way of fixing it midstream, unfortunately. Theo Dan now going off to the right-hand side. Marcus Smith trying to go through, but he's tackled by Sever Reese again. Do you think Marcus Smith has played well despite the goal kicking? I think on attack he's been quite strong for Marcus Smith. New Zealand looking for the turnover. Vati has been told to get out of it. Now back into the pocket. Looked like they were going to go for a drop kick for a second there, but Marcus Smith instead goes for the chip in behind and runs straight into Scott Barrett. McKenzie flicks it out the back door. Jordie Barrett under pressure does kick it off the left boot. And that is a good kick from Jordie Barrett. Gets it into touch and gains a lot of territory. AB should not show written all over them. Have no show written all over them. I think that is from Jeremy. And Ireland beat 2 out of 3 tests at home. 1 swallow. Doesn't make a summer. World rankings are right at the moment, says Cole. As Reva's shown his inexperience, he tells the 9 to use it. He doesn't. And our boys surge ahead. BS call. Says Thorfinn. Now Theo Dan again with another line-out throw. Nicely taken by George Martin. They are 40 metres out from their own line at the moment. And they're slowly going forward. What a great impression for the new coach. Says Whopper. Now Theo Dan, great shot coming in. I feel like this is also, I know a lot of people from this game are going to criticise Scott Robertson, but I feel like Borthwick also needs quite a bit of credit. A lot of people didn't want him to be head coach after the start that he had after Eddie Jones, but he has really shown that this English side have got quite a bit of depth and a lot of talent that they will be definitely contenders in the future. Finley Christie goes across to Bowden Barrett. Now looks for the kick in behind, looking for a 50-22. That ball just keeps on rolling, and they have got them into the 22. Furbank gets to clear his lines, and this will be about 30 metres out now for the English. Or for the All Blacks up against England, I should say. As we're watching rugby from the USA, or is it weird watching rugby from the USA? And their rush defence needs to be looked at. So many offsides. Says Thorfinn. It's down with Razor. Patience. And we have got there, it's the English side. Defence coach, that deserves the credit, I think, says Mark Humphreys. But I suffer more now onto the field. That is for Cody Taylor. And Underhill, he is off. And that is for Coles. Does make his way on. Although I think that change had already been made for the English. Now Safar Moore goes into the back. Nicely taken by Luke Jacobson. Now running flat was Sever Reese. Tackled low by Marcus Smith, who's had to make quite a few throughout this match. Another run from a Safar Moore. Tackled by Lawrence. And the advantage for not rolling away. Going against England. Now, if New Zealand manage to get themselves the 3 points here, that would actually give them the lead at this stage of the contest, but they have got the advantage, so they can now try and get something to work. McKenzie thought about the kick. That was poor. I think Ioane ran into his way, and now they will go back for another shot at the posts. It's Razor's first game. Give him a season, says Jason. Yeah, a lot of people already taking him away from that All Blacks jersey. I heard people saying Vern Cotter is now the next All Blacks coach. I'm going to play Rugby 08 while listening to this, says Mikkel there. You need an animation so you can show us where on the pitch the player is going. We've tried that before, but unfortunately, due to the delay of Sky Sport now here in New Zealand, it meant that the screen was showing where the players were 30 seconds before we were telling you guys where they were. So it didn't actually work, unfortunately, because of the delays that happened for here in New Zealand. Or a penalty kick, just win this game. If the ABs play like this next week, Fortress will fall. And England doing good, says Wanta. And let's go the All Blacks, says Moss. Damien McKenzie looks like he's got a couple cotton buds stuffed up his nose to try and stop the bleeding, but he's got an opportunity now to take a kick. They would give the All Blacks a 1-point lead, which is exactly what they had the last time that these two sides played in Dunedin. Need guys like Amor to put us on the front foot, says JDB, and absolutely standing beside Razor, no matter what, says Heaney. And it was the ref, it is Amashakali from Georgia, but that kick has gone over. The All Blacks are now in the lead, 16 points to 15, but it is anyone's game for the final 15 minutes. England seem to be a little bit hesitant on attack. I hope they play better next week. This AB's team are out there, are there for the beating. A 1-point game, gents, says Mark. And there as well, yeah, certainly been an entertaining one. Yo, mean as hairline, says Jet. In there as well. Now, Mark Talia. Going to have this ball available. Finley Christie going off to Fletcher Null. I don't come here for your looks, mate. Voice sounds nice and speaks good sense, says Shane. Finley Christie going box kick again down towards the halfway line. Almost contestable, but England once again unchallenged. Managing to take it under the high ball was George Furbank, who looks like he may have taken a bit of a knock in the process. Well, he's back up to his feet. He's a tough man, the English number 15. Now Tom Curry going off to Marua Toje. Savia looked for the turnover but wasn't able to do so. Now Mitchell. In fact, no, sorry, the replacement. It's going to be Spencer. Uncontested, Bowden Barrett. Well, the only contest on him was actually Damien McKenzie. Here comes Bowden Barrett, finds the offload to Tupavai. The All Blacks haven't been able to make those easy meters that they normally would when attacking the way that they are. What a shot, D-Mac. And also raises it to stuck in the Crusaders' mindset. Says Dan Pans. Nicely taken by Geordie Barrett. Oh, that was pretty late. on Geordie. It got rid of the ball 2 seconds later. Gets cleaned up. Taken at the back now for the youngster, Smith. So Smith for Smith. Bowden Barrett having to get this one under control. The ball was bouncing away from him big time. Kicks it downfield. It's a decent clearing kick now, 30 metres up on the line. Once again, England have got themselves the line out. And by the way, thanks for the live commentary. I appreciate it very much. And anyone who is new, of course, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. We are going to be back with plenty more later on tonight. The next game that we are covering on the channel is going to be the matchup between Australia and Wales. And that one is not too far away from starting. So if you are new, like I said, be sure to hit that subscribe button. The broadcasting is so poor, keeps cutting out. Says Hog. And there as well, and mods need a timeout. Some of the trolls and nuisance in the stream chat. Says a bystander. Now rolling maul here. Theo Dan at the back. Referee asking for New Zealand to keep this one up. They're being told to use it. And now it's gone down. Barrett through, and he has managed to get the turnover offside position, I thought, there for Maro Itoje. But it is going to be the scrum feed now for New Zealand. Late to tune in. Looks like a very tight game. Says Akaris. And there as well. Yeah, nice work from Scott Barrett to see the opportunity to turn that ball over. And does do just that. Yeah, it ends up going down. Then Barrett saw... Well, was that a knock on? It was close to one. For Scott Barrett, what time is the next game? The next game is happening in just an hour's time. Is when that next one is taking place. Let's go New Zealand, says RTV. And the return of Akaris. And my All Blacks till I die. So as them strong. And where are they on the paddock at the moment? The All Blacks will be about 30 metres out from their own line here. Oh, Rico Ioane off the field for Anton Leonard-Brown. Rico, I would say he had about the game that he's had throughout the whole of the Super Rugby Pacific season. You know, it wasn't that flash. He did what he had to. There was just some good moments, but overall, I just feel like he was a bit flat throughout this game, unfortunately. But that is a sign that, you know, his form just hasn't quite been the best. I'm going to sleep after this, says Hawk. And England forwards were dominated. Today, New Zealand rusty, unable to capitalise. Says Rob there. And now Finley Christie about to feed this ball in. And good sub Anton Leonard-Brown on. Yeah, and he has had an absolutely phenomenal Super Rugby Pacific. That man has been in some of the best form he ever has been for Super Rugby. So it'll be interesting to see how he partners up with Geordie Barrett in this game. Go New Zealand, says Ferdy. This is Pro Rugby, says Bruce. And there as well. That's how River lad in Czech Republic, praying New Zealand can hold on and extend the lead. Thanks for the commentary. Go the All Blacks, says Way. Yeah, anyone who is due, like I said, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Both front rows go down. So we will have another reset. Currently, New Zealand, they are ahead by 1. Razor needs to forget everything he learnt for at the Crusaders and coach the Blues winning style. So you're saying he should forget what he's learnt at Super Rugby level and coach like another Super Rugby team? Right. I see. As we know, 1 point is all. You need to win a game. Go the AB, says Joe, bro. And also how much time left? Still another 10 minutes remaining. We've had about 2 minutes of this scrum taking place. A few resets along the way. I like rugby in the morning. We are going to be covering some tomorrow morning New Zealand time. France versus Argentina, as well as South Africa, Ireland. All Blacks great in union, and they were fantastic in Hong Kong at the sevens. Men and women, says Anofu. And there, and Kiwis will score. And 2 before full time. That is a massive push there from the All Blacks. They've got the penalty advantage. Now Geordie Barrett flicks it out the back. Goes out to Mark Talia. There's a bit of space till Ollie Lawrence is on him again. It's a tight game, y'all. The Bombies came for war. Says Wanta there. Hello, Amish. Great shot. And Kiwis, or kids are begging for breakfast. And he will build chemistry, a surviving jersey. And I prefer the Rugby World Cup coach from England. I thought he was an awesome dude, and the ABs played beautiful rugby under him. And field bro, not paddock, says FMM. A lot of people refer to it as the paddock, though, mainly from the old school. Like in New Zealand, you play rugby in a paddock anytime you get the opportunity as a child. My dad used to tell me that he used to play rugby barefoot on their farm. But the problem was, every once in a while, you know, it would be in the same paddock as the sheep were in. So you get the sheep droppings in between your toes a little bit, but as long as they were a bit harder, they didn't leave a mark. They'd just kind of bounce off. And very disappointed, Amish. You're getting Ollie Lawrence correct far too often, says Grant. Now line out, throw for Asafa. Oh, what's he done there? He sold the dummy. I think he did that on purpose, Asafa. He went like this and then did it. But I don't know whether or not he realised he did it, because he kind of went as if he was like, oh, I'm going to do it, England. And then he unfortunately did not get to do it. Now, Finley Christie had that ball stolen by Geordie Barrett under the high ball. Now, Adi Savia, a try and converted here for New Zealand might do enough to win them this game. But England getting back into it. Be just around the corner. The Razor Fanboys Club a bit quiet. Says Meanaz. At the sound of the police, says Juan. And the black jelly beans in between Amish's toes. Boots are expensive, says Eric J. It's kicked high from Finley Christie again. Now, that's a big bit of contact. Geordie Barrett, though, knocks it back to Offa. Tuonga Fassi. Maru Atoje wants the turnover. He's lost his footing, though, so can't go for that ball. Christie, back again. McKenzie going for the chip in behind. Why is the big question. Although loose ball, almost messed up by the youngster Smith. Too many Crusaders in the team, says Dan Dans. Is there? There's like 2 in there. 2 in the starting lineup, was it? Now another big shot coming in. Crowd aren't happy at the moment. Run from the main man, George Martin. Up the Saracens, says Eric J. Now, Spencer. Good pace from Theo Dan. Christie looking in every breakdown at the moment. The All Blacks just trying to get that ball back. Crowd getting rowdy. They certainly are, 30,000+ of them. Now Spencer puts it up again. At the moment, both sides, it seems like they're both playing not to lose rather than to win, if that makes sense. Like both sides are just kicking around the halfway line. That was offside by about 5 metres from Finn Baxter, but it's going to be play on. Finley Christie goes back to Tupavai. Now tackled by Spencer again. Christie, we're going for the box kick again by the looks of it here for the All Blacks. Yeah, both sides are just playing this on the halfway line, kicking it downfield. And then the opposition. That's a big shot from Sever Reese. Has knocked Furbank backwards. New Zealand want the turnover, but they can't quite get it. Now Spencer back across here to George Martin this time. Tackled by Asafa Moore. How many offsides do England get before they are called for it? Says Thorfinn. 6 minutes left now in this contest. Spencer again will put it high. Not looking for the touchline this time, down towards the halfway line. Geordie Barrett takes it well, looks for the offload, gets it to Tupavai, who gets through one. Was that a neck roll? They might have another look at that one from one of the All Blacks for here. Come Asafa Moore, 40 metres out at the moment. Furbank was holding on there, says Grant. Now Tuonga Fassi goes back and behind. Certainly before the second match, New Zealand will want to find a way of countering this rush defence from the English. Fletcher Null now drops his head. This game is just a baptism of fire for Razor. Says Gita Safa Moore with the pick and go. Wrestled down again. Ball is available. We're kicking it again by the looks of it this time for Finley Christie. And by we, I mean New Zealand and England. It just seems to be a game that everyone wants to kick it. That's a kick a little bit too far. The mark was called by Furbank. Reese, he was all over that ball if it had not been the mark taken. Come on, England, says Eunice, and come on, England, says Eric. Let's go, New Zealand, says Peter. We have got there. Are you still disappointed about the Maroons beating you? Says Fred. The Maroons? In State of Origin? I don't actually have a team in State of Origin. Are they both being careful not to give away the penalty? Or the winning penalty in range. Yeah, exactly right. They're just playing the territory game, trying to be a little bit closer to the opposition post than your opposition. Seemed like Spencer actually called for the mark louder than Furbank there. This could have been the Rugby World Cup final, says RJJ. And currently it is the same score as the semi-final between South Africa and England. Of course, in that game, South Africa winning by 1 point. Currently what it is sitting at for this one. Slate Home is onto the field. That is for Fi Waboso. Now thrown in by New Zealand, going to the back. And they look to get a rolling ball going. Maru Atoje. He would love to go through the middle of this one, but it doesn't look like he's going to be able to touch it, although it is now looping around a little bit there. Moore looks like he's content to get it back to Christie. That's slapped out of the hands there, but it's going to be play on. Reese breaks through. Oh, that's off the ball. Forsyth Moore diving past the breakdown. Could have ended up with a penalty against him. But New Zealand now have still got the possession. Christie goes off to Forsyth Moore. The TMO would have looked at that one in live time and hasn't told the referee to change his mind. Christie, 3.5 minutes remaining here for the All Blacks. Here's Anton Leonard-Brown from a standing start. Go England, says Tawai there. Across to Tupavai. There's a penalty that is going to be for a no-arms tackle. McKenzie looking for the cross kick. Our white to Mark Delia keeps the ball alive. Well picked up by Bowden Barrett, who's running backwards, puts it in mind for his brother Geordie. But they will go back for the penalty advantage. Justin played later tonight. I like your commentary. Well done, says Shane. Thank you very much. And anyone who is new, be sure to hit that subscribe button. We have got Australia versus Wales just around the corner. Also South Africa versus Ireland, followed by France versus Argentina. So 3 massive matches that are still to come tonight. So if you are new, of course, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Bring it home, boys. Up the All Blacks. Says Dorsa, the All Blacks will line up the 3 points now with Damian McKenzie. This is to take it outside of a penalty for England in terms of the margin. And great job, bro, says Bruce said. Christius, though, we need Ratama, says JDB. And also, the New Zealand lineouts are so terrible, says Tigger. But yeah, they're just showing there the no-arm tackles from the youngster. Coles has only recently made his way off the bench and has already given away a crucial penalty. This will give New Zealand a 4-point lead if this kick from Damian McKenzie goes over. There is still 2 minutes remaining in this matchup, so the ABs win. I guess that was always going to be, says hang around and come on New Zealand, says Emily. And W. Taylor's version, I should say, is the rest of the name there with the T Swift in the corner. 10 seconds remaining for Damian McKenzie. They are trying to use up as much time as they physically can here. New Zealand smashed the Bombs ABs. Says Joseph now. Oh, he's taken too long. He took more than the 60 seconds. Damian McKenzie. And Ben Earl grabs the ball, grabs the tee, chucks it in McKenzie's face and says, better luck next time, mate. That is a crucial error right there from Damian McKenzie. They are going to opt for the scrum. Why is that what the New Zealanders decided? Either way, England were going to have 2 minutes to attack. Whether you give them 2 minutes or 1 minute 55, they've still got an attack. The time has been taken from Damian McKenzie. He hasn't got a clock. Referee told him 10 seconds, and that was about 10 seconds ago, though. That is a big one there. Razor wanted to punch a wall. Instead, he had to slap a wall instead. Our silly thing to do. Exactly right. And this could only happen to Damian McKenzie. Yeah, if he didn't take so long to smile, he would have been able to go for the kick. Now, big scrum from New Zealand, though. It's out the back. In fact, that is an ugly scrum. We don't know what way it's going to go. I think the referee had the advantage to England by half a second, and then he took it away. New Zealand wanted the turnover. They've got the penalty, England. They are inside of their own half, though, so it will be too far to go. That was poor from D-Mac and All Blacks losing this one. McKenzie needs to get rid of his kicking routine. There was a waste of opportunity, says Tigger. And remember the rules are there to beat the ABs, but man, a point. And if New Zealand loses, that's disastrous and very unprofessional from McKenzie. And now it gives England the opportunity that if they win a penalty inside of New Zealand's half, it wouldn't be Marcus Smith anymore. We just hear the full-time siren. But that is a big, big moment in this game, ladies and gentlemen. Now, 10 metres inside of the All Blacks half. England in possession with a 1-point difference between the sides. Now Spencer going back, short ball to Tommy Freeman. If New Zealand end up offside, this game could be over and England could win it, although onto the ball there. No, Jacobson does not get the turnover. Spencer back again to Smith. Furbank, he's ducked into the tackle. Tupavai. He's tried to go through. The penalty goes the way of the All Blacks for not releasing. Now that was a very thin margin because there the All Blacks almost, had it not been for not releasing, could have been penalised for flopping over the breakdown. But because they got the not releasing first, they get the penalty. Tupavai off the bench gets it. Barrett looks out on his feet. But once again, Forsyth Barr Stadium will host a 1 point difference between these two sides. New Zealand hang on. England, what a valiant performance there from this side, and I cannot wait to see what happens in the second test match. New Zealand pushed. Razor, fortunately, does not become the first All Blacks coach to lose their opening contest when they get appointed. But he will know it was very close to being the other way. And yes, says, good job, England. No shame in that game. Says, exactly right. Like, England turned up for this game. And yes, both sides will have moments that they weren't happy with. But at the same time, like, Maro Itoje, even though New Zealand won, still my man of the match. The way he was able to get into the breakdown and probably get 4 turnovers throughout this game, that is something I'm not sure about that last breakdown, to be honest. Like they said, they're not releasing. Very quick decision from Amisha Kelly. I think there's a moral victory for England. Says Flesh in there. I think the Auckland Blues got a better chance against England. And how many tests are they playing? Just the 2. So New Zealand are now 1 up in the series. They cannot lose the series, but they can draw it. The All Blacks have a problem in their forwards. Says Grant there. And thanks for the commentary, bro. Will subscribe, says Dorsa. And their chat as well. But anyone who is new to the channel, of course, be sure to hit that subscribe button. We are back in 30 minutes time with Australia versus Wales. That is also going to be happening tonight. Then Ireland versus South Africa happening later on. And then there is still Argentina versus France in the game after that. But nonetheless, I do thank you all very much for tuning in to this live stream. Now, we will have plenty of build-up for that next matchup between England and New Zealand. We will have the teams. We will have a prediction of the sides to be announced. I will give my starting XV that I would have up against the English in match 2. Thanks for the unbiased commentary, says Dan. Game, great commentating, good banter. See you for the next game, says Gary. And there as well, Mackenzie's getting told off, as he probably should. At the end of the day, making a mistake like taking more than 60 seconds to line up a kick that wasn't going to end the game anyway, you know, it was almost the breaking point. I'm glad I don't have to put up with my brother-in-law saying they won, and thanks for the great commentary. Appreciate this live stream, says Tigger there. Sort your Wi-Fi out. See you for the next game. Go Wales, says Arcase. Yep, we will be resetting the modem. We will be doing everything we can to make sure that it's a little bit clearer for the next live stream between Australia and Wales. So we are starting at 9:30 New Zealand time, ladies and gentlemen, for that contest. And yeah, we've got plenty more action coming later on tonight. But thank you all very much for tuning in. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. We got Frankie who said, thanks, mate. I'm a Kiwi in England, so stoked to listen along. And let's go the Māori ABs. Of course, that is another game that is happening very soon. They are interviewing Scott Barrett at the moment. He will know that they dodged a little bit of a bullet there for the ABs. Lucky All Blacks, says Fish Eagle. And thank you, Hamish, says Tony Muir. We were robbed. In what regard, though? Because at the end of the day, when it's only 1 point different, you could also say the fact that Marcus Smith missed 3 kicks throughout this game. That's 6 points. Damien McKenzie missing 3 kicks. That could have been the difference, you know. We've got to look at the other points of this game as well in terms of what could have impacted the overall decision. Which side was more convincing? If I'm being completely honest, England. I honestly feel like if you looked at the stats, like New Zealand had a lot more of the attack, but it was what England did with their attacks when they got the opportunities that did thoroughly impress me throughout this game. So, you know, I don't think either side will completely drop their heads about this performance, but at the same time, there are things that they need to work on. Not an impressive start for the All Blacks, much more needed by coach and players, says JMK. But yeah, nonetheless, I do thank you all very much for tuning in. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. And I will see you all for Australia versus England.